Escape to the world of your dreams with Windows Mixed Reality and hardware from Acer, Dell, HP, Lenovo, and Samsung. You can escape the everyday into a world of imagination. Personalize your virtual home with great content and surround yourself with apps from 20,000 available titles. Pre-order your Windows Mixed Reality headsets now at firstlooks.tv/Microsoft.
Hello, we are live here at the Sundome at the University of South Florida. I'm Danielle.
I'm Marissa.
And I'm Jacob.
And we're here with First Looks.
Yep. So if you're watching this live, you'll see that we're just one shot and you'll see everybody. If you're watching this after the live show, there'll be different views. So if we're not looking at you in post-production, it's all good.
Yeah. So we're going to be starting off the show with just Marissa and Jacob, and I will be coming on later. So good luck, guys. Enjoy some robots.
Talk about some fun.
We got a cool little thing going on back here, and I'm excited to hear more about it.
Yeah, she's going to go look at all the cool nerdy stuff while we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring some people on. So what do you think you can say about ROBOTICON so far?
So far it's pretty fun. They brought out a Baxter, which is the dual welding-armed robot that you use in manufacturing.
I've already taken pictures with him. Yep.
They have it playing Connect 4 on the other side of the arena from us.
Good.
Pretty fun.
Pretty cool. So here, here we have our first interview.
Hi.
Hi. Want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, my name is Stacy Jones. I'm the South Florida Regional Partner for First LEGO League and First LEGO League Junior, and also a lead mentor for SPAM, FRC 180.
Wow, you do a lot.
I do a lot.
Nice. So what are you doing here at ROBOTICON today?
I am actually helping out Terry, and I'm doing the First LEGO League emceeing. So I'm the MC, the tour guide, whatever she needs me to do.
You are the MC in just a few minutes, so we're going to make sure that your interview doesn't interfere.
Very quickly, yes.
Yeah. So how many teams showed up today?
We have 13 teams from all over Florida, so very excited. I have a few from my South Florida region.
Nice.
I know, it's good.
So what are you showing here today?
Well, the game is all about hydrodynamics, and it's all about water, how we use it, transport it, anything that we can do with water, and the human water cycle. So that all the kids are coming up with problems and solutions, and who knows what they'll come up with. They'll invent something amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So, you as yourself as the regional director, how's that?
This is my second official year. I love it. I'm also working with our regional directors from all over South Florida, Daesh and Mark and Michael and Beth, and we have a really great group of people, and we are pushing Florida to become the #1 First LEGO League competition group in the United States. So we're very excited. We're our goal is 600 teams this year. So
600. Yeah. How are the numbers right now?
A little low, thanks to Irma. We really don't like Irma. But in South Florida, we got about 160 teams.
Wow.
Central Florida and North Florida are about the same. So we're very excited here in Tampa. We're growing really quickly. And so it's getting there. We're very excited about what's happening for First.
That's cool. I know. I loved it when I was in First LEGO League. And all the problems you have to come up with.
Yep. And solutions, all the wonderful solutions. Yes.
Yep.
So in First LEGO League, you come up with both the problem and the solution?
Well, you get to pick what the problem is. I mean, there's a plethora of problems out there with water. So say one of the kids wanted to talk about the water is turning my house brown. There's too much iron in my water. And then they'd come up with a solution. It can be, chemically, it can be filtering, it can be anything. And the kids actually come up with a solution to that problem. Some of them patent the solutions. So it's really exciting. And they present it to judges, and I'm very impressed. Every year, these kids come up with something I never thought of.
I've got a question for you.
Yes.
How many patents are issued to LEGO League teams?
That is a fantastic question. We actually were at the Global Innovation Awards this year in Washington, D.C., and I got to witness all 20 teams had all gone for patents then. So they're the top in the world. So, so we even have a couple of teams here in South Florida that, I'm not in South Florida, who actually have come up with some wonderful patents. So pretty much I encourage every team to at least try.
Wow, that's really cool. How was competitions last year?
Last year with Animal Allies, for my first year was chaotic and fantastic, and really eye-opening to what these kids are going through and what the coaches are going through. And we have just enjoyed immensely all the wonderful things they've gotten to do. We did Global Innovation Awards in Washington. We did Houston. All these teams got to go to Houston. We had 5 representations going to Houston last year from Florida, and they all did very, very well.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yep.
Now, something I want to talk about is I've had to tour a couple people around the arena already, and they were all asking me, how do they get involved?
Oh, wonderful. Right now, you can go to firstinspires.org, and you can actually click on your dashboard and sign in, and then it has create a team. You can create a team very easily. It's $225 to register your team, $75 for a challenge kit, and if you have an EV3 Mindstorm Lego kit, that's it. That's all it takes. And then we have competitions throughout the whole United States. And here in South Florida, well, in my area, South Florida, we have 16 tournaments.
Wow.
So there's a tournament everywhere.
Wait, how many tournaments in like what amount of time?
Well, each of the teams can go to a qualifying tournament. And so they pick one.
Okay.
So in my region, I have 11 to 12 qualifying tournaments, and then I have 5 or so practice tournaments. So teams can go.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And with me and what we're doing in Florida is that we all work together as a team. So everybody in the region, if I have somebody in Pasco who's really interested, I include them and talk to them, and they also go to the Pasco, library system or somebody like that, to our regional director in that area, and we all connect them so everybody has a chance to do first.
Oh, that's great.
Okay?
So, yeah, we're good?
All right.
Yeah, I know you got to head off somewhere.
Yeah, I have to MC, and I'm
Yeah.
so super excited. I get to see some amazing teams. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you guys. Y'all are doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
you.
Hope things work out with
Me
all
too.
the teams today.
Thanks.
So here at Roboticon, there's teams everywhere.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
We have FLL.
First
FCC.
Lego League, First Robotics Competition, and First Tech Challenge. I think there was like,
And First Lego League Junior. We do
And-
have 4 junior teams presenting out
Oh.
on the concourse.
Awesome.
nice. Yeah,
We
like
have all aspects of FIRST represented here today.
so many teams. So coming up with our next interview from Team Minotaur. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, my name is Brianna McMurchie. I am the sub-team lead for fabrication and Chairman's Award on Team 1369 Minotaur.
Nice. And that's a First Robotics Competition team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they got the big robots going on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so what are you doing out here in Roboticon?
So right now I am just, we're practicing shooting. We're trying a few new things with the robot. We've been training our new members. I took a group around. We were teaching them how to pit scout, all that kind of stuff, because, scouting is actually really important and something that a lot of people don't really, emphasize as much as they probably should. Because last year, well, not necessarily last year, but Stronghold especially, scouting really, made or, broke you in, the long run.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So it's like you wanted to get to know the other teams better and how they perform?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really important to understand the capabilities of all of the people that you will be going with and against so that you can plan accordingly, to hopefully win. So.
Strategize.
Yep.
Nice. So your whole team's out here today?
Not our entire team, most of the new members and then some of the senior members. Really, this is just a trial run for some of the new members. We're having some of them drive. We're having some of them talk to other teams, figure out how other teams do things, teaching them about the robot. A lot of them aren't very familiar with this game since they weren't on the team this last year. So we're showing them how the game works, showing them all the different components of the different robots and stuff like that. So.
What would you say the hardest part about this past game was?
Oh boy. Just speed. There's just not enough time to do everything that you want to in a match. So for us, we were a gear-focused robot. It was just really hard to, make a robot that was like fast enough and accurate enough that it could get, all those gears like that quickly. So
Yeah, that's in every competition.
yeah.
So it's not enough time.
If you had all the time in the world, it'd be really easy to get everything done.
Yeah.
So you're bringing out new members, getting them used to how a competition works. What do you think about ROBOTICON?
I think ROBOTICON is a great thing. I went last year too. It was really great then too. It's just super good for teaching the new members, how robotics works. Giving them like a run through without like the pressure of a tournament, like an actual tournament. Yeah.
Nice.
Also, like, there's a lot of volunteering stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then having, like, FTC, FRC, and FLL all, like, in this close of range to each other, that's really cool, too. Actually, I just started an FLL team last week.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa! Like, you just got a team together and... Oh, near your school, or?
Yeah. So there is this private school called Hope Bible Truth Academy, and it is across from Middleton, is where I go. And they came to this robotics camp that we did over the summer. I was in charge of like the FLL portion of that. We also had a VEX component too. I know that's not FIRST, but so the FLL portion, she brought down some kids for that. And I taught them a little bit about programming and stuff, and I told her a little bit about FIRST, and she fell in love with it. She loved the idea of FIRST. She loved everything about it.
Wow.
So we had this like FLL like training thing at Middleton this last weekend. I had her come down. There were different like segments. There was like core values room. There was a robot room. There was a project room. And, we talked a little bit about what each component was, like what you were supposed to be doing in each one. And she really loved it. She, fell in love with FIRST. So she decided that she was going to take on the responsibility of being a coach. And yeah.
Wow. So you were able to like directly impact on someone making a first Lego League team.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm like thrilled, honestly, because I love FRC, but I kind of miss the whole like project component that came with FLL. Chairman's is kind of like that, but Chairman's is more like core values, I would say, because it's more about helping other people, helping your community and stuff, and that's more what core values is about, like teamwork and all that. But I missed the project component, so I'm like really, thrilled to be able to help the FLL team, get the opportunity that I had that I know not everybody else gets. So, yeah.
So what year are you in?
I'm in 11th grade.
Wow. So you're not even a senior yet, and you're already giving back to people and making more robotics bigger and making first Lego League teams. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you do workshops a lot with your school?
Yes. So we do about like 2 to 3 a year. So this last one was for FTC and FLL, but we do a few exclusively for FLL too. And then we host tournaments sometimes. So like, yeah, I know VEX is not FIRST, but we've hosted like VEX.
It's still robotics.
Yeah.
We're all gonna love it.
So we've hosted VEX tournaments, some like FTC ones. I don't think we've hosted a FRC tournament yet, but I know that's something that we want to do in the future. So
wow. So how do people find out about these workshops and stuff?
Well, so Mr. Berglund, our team coach, he is on like the board, the like first board for like the county or whatever, I think. So he has like all those connections, and so he always talks to people to get that all arranged and stuff, gets people interested, puts out that information. So
okay, so you go out and find the people. That's really cool.
And our principal at Middleton High School, she is it's a STEM school. It has a STEM magnet. So there's, biomed engineering and stuff. So our principal is like really open to like this kind of stuff at our school because she wants people to, join the magnets at our school and, Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it's a great way for your school to get, like, more out of FIRST, too.
Yeah.
Because you get to bring more people in.
Yeah, exactly.
Your principal is actually one of the most interesting people that I've ever met.
She
Really?
is.
Yeah, she spoke at a TEDx event that we did.
Oh, really?
She is a fascinating person.
Yeah, she's a really great lady.
Yeah, I've seen her at competitions sometimes and workshops I've been to. It's just like every time it's just like, she's everywhere.
Yeah, she's so enthusiastic. She loves FIRST like so much. Actually, like not this tournament, but last tournament, she came down and she wanted to drive the robot, the FRC robot. So yeah, so we let her have a test drive last time, and she actually did really well. Not gonna lie, I was surprised. She did better than some of the people on our team.
Oh, that's
Not throwing
great.
shade or anything.
Oh.
but yeah.
Yeah. She's probably been driving for a while, her own car, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
true. She has a little bit more experience.
Yeah,
Those
most high
guys' driver
schoolers.
control stations are the dual joysticks, right?
Yeah. So usually with our driving configuration, there's like the 2 joysticks, and then there's another person who controls stuff like the gear release, because we have like pneumatic arms that drop our gear onto the peg.
Okay.
So there's like a separate control for that, and then with Stronghold there was like a shooter, because we were focused on shooting. So because as you know, there's like breaching and shooting robots. So the other driver was in charge of like lifting the arm up and down, and then pressing the button to shoot. So yeah.
So, new competition's going to start soon.
Yes.
Power Up.
Yes.
There's already been teasers out, so how do you think that's going to go?
Oh my gosh, I'm like really excited. My favorite game so far, in case you haven't noticed, is Stronghold. I think that was super cool, super complex and stuff. This game also is really cool, so I don't know how they're gonna, top that, but I look forward to seeing.
Don't they always end up topping it though?
Yeah, like
About
every
every
single
year.
year, I swear it gets like better and better and better.
And more complicated.
Yeah, this field. Okay, so yesterday I came and I was part of the field setup for this, and I helped build both of the airships, and let me tell you, it is so complicated.
And they're still working on it.
Oh yeah.
They're still trying to. We're like past 12 hours of trying to set this field up, and it's still going.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they told me yesterday, my coach did, that I would need to come at 4:30, and then by then almost everything would be done, and then there would be like a little bit of like last minute wiring and stuff. No, when we got here, you see like the driver's station screens, like those were set up, not installed or anything, and then the carpet was down, and that's it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
It's a long process.
Oh yeah. We stayed. Well, I stayed until like 7:30, and I only ended up staying until the first like back driver's station was installed, and the 2 airships were almost done. So
Wow.
yeah, it was
It's a lot of work that goes into the fields.
yeah. So shout out to the volunteers. Honestly, you guys work really hard.
It did not make things better that there were missing parts.
Oh yeah, my team actually, we had to send some people to Home Depot to go get some PVC pipe, so that because I don't know if you can see from here, but I can't remember what they're called, like the little place where you slide down the gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to go get PVC pipes, and then I helped cut them at our pit so that we could actually finish completing the field. So
And another shout out to Tampa Technic, who machined parts up until 11 o'clock at night for the field, because those machine parts are actually like, if we didn't have them, it would be safety hazards.
Yeah.
And we were missing those parts. The fields were like falling down because we didn't have these parts. And so thank you so much for sponsors who machined parts for this field so that ROBOTICON could still go on.
yeah, honestly, like all of the volunteers and all the people in FIRST in general are just so great.
Yeah, and you're on a team, you came out to volunteer too, and now you got to think about your next competition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck in your next competition.
Thank you.
If you keep saying you're going back, there is the field like right there behind us, if you could like see any of it. Maybe little spinning tops. It's great. It's huge. And like the FIRST Robotics field is there. The FLL field is like straight down below us, and then you have an FTC First Tech Challenge field on the other side. So like all 3 competitions are here with their fields.
4 junior FLL.
Junior FLL
Junior
here.
First Lego League.
4. It's
Now, to be fair, the Lego League Junior doesn't really.
they need a table.
It's not quite the same. It's more of a presentation than it is anything else. But
It's still cool.
I am so excited that we've got 4 of them here.
Yep. So our next interview is right here. Why don't you go introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Eric Chan. I'm from Florida Polytechnic University, and I'm here on the behalf of the robotics club called Purple Fire, as you can see right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're in college already.
Yeah.
So you went through first.
Mm-hmm.
First.
I went through First Tech Challenge,
Oh, fun.
but most of the time I associated with VEX. So,
Oh, nice. You
Yeah.
were able to do like a lot.
yeah, did it like a lateral shift just now.
Yeah.
Nice. So Polytech.
Yeah.
How's that?
Polytech is amazing. The campus is like gorgeous. The main center building, it's like got louvers. It's got like some moving parts. Basically, it's got like these louvers that move to block the sun throughout the day. So then while you're sitting in like the common area, you hear like the motors just like creaking as it like adjusts itself to like, and you just watch the shadow like move over you, and you're like, wow, that's awesome, because like we live in Florida. So
That is really cool. I was able to check out the university last
yeah.
year. It was impressive. So you're from the robotics club there, Purple Fire.
Yep.
What's that all about?
basically, it's a club that we do all things robotics. So we do FIRST outreach. We have members participate in the FIRST alumni program. We have the members participate in VEX-U. We also have a few projects that other clubs wanted us to participate in. So one of the projects that we got asked for was Halloween animatronics. Our school is building a haunted house, like from scratch, from the ground up, and like they came to us to like ask to build Halloween animatronics. So like it was a pretty big project for us, and hopefully we'll be able to see the end result of that soon.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
What is your club doing at ROBOTICON this year?
Oh, this year we participated in the first Robot in 1 Weekend event, head by Barry Bonzak. He came to us and asked us to participate in that event, and we gladly obliged, and we built a robot in 1 weekend. Now, we did it a little bit different this year. This is our second year doing it. The first year we had the Rev Robotics kit, and we didn't have enough parts, so we decided to do something different this year with the VEX robot. Since we participate in VEX-U, we decided to build a robot out of VEX parts, and basically we have 12 servos on that robot, and it's like functioning really well. And we have it right here in the competition. We're going to start scrimmaging real soon.
yeah, I was also part of a robot in a weekend, but here
Nice.
at the University Mall here in Tampa, and yeah, that was a fun thing. 36 hours of a build.
gosh.
It's a solid weekend just hanging out with nerds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a hackathon, but more for like the robotics nerds, right? Hardware.
Yeah.
So like you
Yeah.
can design the robot, you build it, and you just have a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was, and we had like 2 3D printers. Like we were at like a shop in the mall, and we
my
had like
gosh.
set up 2 3D printers, and so we made the part in the morning, and then we were like printing it in the afternoon. It was really impressive, and that robot in a weekend is a great thing to do. More people should get involved.
For sure. More people should get involved in that.
Yep.
What was your favorite thing that your robot in a weekend robot could do? Because I know what ours was.
It could drive.
Okay, so for those of you watching, that is a bigger deal than it sounds like.
Yeah.
We were at least 2/3 of the way into our time before the thing moved at all. So
Really?
yes, that is
Yeah.
a bigger deal than it sounds like.
Yeah. We built a H drive chassis, so like it can
Whoa.
move laterally. So like we had 5 motors, 1 for every wheel, and then the 4 wheels, typical 4-wheel setup, and we have like an extra wheel in the middle, and that one was able to move the robot laterally because we use Omni wheels.
Oh.
So because in this game we have a lot of you need to move side to side a lot because when you're
Yeah.
going to that like scoring zone for the glyphs, you can't like back in and then try to back up and then back in again, try to get that like
Yeah.
right row that you're trying to set up.
You do
So
the
we
lateral
decided on
row.
that. Yep. Yeah. So I believe that's kind of like our shining moment of our robot. But we built like 2 robots. We built 2 full robots, but we had 3 different designs for like the arm mechanisms, for the lifting mechanisms. One of the mechanisms that I really liked was the we had the flywheel type system that would like lift it up as well.
Oh.
So believe it or not, the flywheels are really good for this first Tech Challenge season because they take in the blocks really easily, and you can you have them in the perfect position to just like spit them back out. So for all those teams out there, I would highly recommend using flywheels for like the intake, because when we were testing them, they worked really well.
And that's the whole point of having a robot in a weekend.
Yeah.
It's to help those FTC teams that just saw the game, for First Tech Challenge teams who just saw the game and thinking about what kind of ideas they should have. Because usually the robot in a weekend happens the weekend that the game comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This year it was a little difficult. We had to do it the week after because of Irma. You'll hear Irma all the time. Yeah, and it was a lot. But it's to give teams ideas and show them, hey, this was a weekend and we got a robot to move. And yes, we do have experience. But it's just to show people like what kind of ideas they can get, like the flywheel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was something we decided to test on. And it was we came with like some type of matrix of like all the different types of like lifting mechanisms, intakes, and we designed the claw type intake, and we also have the flywheel intake with us right now. So
nice.
if you guys want to check it out.
Any First Tech Challenge teams out there, you can always just Google robot in a weekend and you'll see videos a lot.
And if you're on the ROBOTICON Facebook page, we've got a camera attached to the field downstairs, and we will be streaming some video off of that field as well.
Yeah, because we got a couple of the robot in a weekend robots here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about a little bit more about your club?
About my club?
Yeah.
Well, the club's like 3 years old. The Florida Polytechnic is actually 4 years old, so like we got like 1 year in advance, or 1 year after the school was founded, we built the club. I wasn't there at the beginning. I'm a junior right now, but we have senior members that like actually wrote the Constitution and like built the club from ground up. Yeah. We basically what I said earlier. We do VEX robotics. We do FIRST alumni volunteering. We also participate in the Robot in One weekend, and we have a bunch of different projects that like other clubs go to us to ask for help in robotics.
So it's a robotics club. Is there a lot of FIRST alumni?
There are a lot. Believe it or not, like there's a lot of people who have, like, we got during our first meeting this year, we had at least 70 people. Mind you, this is a school that's like 1,000 people maximum, right? Like it's at max capacity right now, and we had like 7 people show up to our meeting, and at least like a good 75% of them had robotics experience from like either it was FIRST, FRC, FIRST Robotics Challenge, FIRST Tech Challenge, VEX, like all at least 1 year or 2. So it was really incredible to have so many like people in robotics.
Yeah, and it was just a robotics club. It wasn't even like you were like, it was like one of those FIRST alumni organization.
No. Yeah.
It just shows you how many of us there are.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
It's growing real fast too, right?
It is.
Like every year there's more teams being made, more competitions being added. Like I love that there's more like regional competitions.
Yeah.
And like 2 different worlds. That blew my mind when they're like, oh, we're having
they have 2 different worlds this year?
They have 2 different worlds. One's in
First Tech Challenge.
one's in Texas, and the other one,
I don't know where the other one is.
I forget where the other one is, but there's 2 different ones. There's like Northern World competition and a Southern World competition.
Do they like collide at one point, or no?
I think it's like
It's just
2
2
different.
different types of.
So this past season, there was one in St. Louis and one in Texas.
Yeah.
So St. Louis has been there forever, and then the winners, at least for FIRST Robotics Competition, the winner from each one went to New Hampshire and basically scrimmaged in New Hampshire. And this year, St. Louis is moving to Detroit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like just keeps growing, and like overseas teams too.
Yeah. It's definitely like something that's gonna like move on. Like it's gonna attract a lot of people, and like we have a lot of talent that we culture in this like
It is.
robotics.
And like even better, like now, like all those team members who were in high school are now in college and graduating college, so they're in the workforce.
Yep. And they have all that experience just from like when they're in middle school and high school. It's just really good.
It is.
Really good opportunity for like students to get into.
And there's so many job opportunities too. They see like FIRST Robotics and they're like, hey, I was a part of that. I've actually had that happen
Really?
at it was an interview, and they were like, oh, I was part of a FIRST Robotics team. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is
You know
awesome.
exactly what I'm trying to say here and like
Yep.
what my skill set might be. So
Yeah.
It's good because you don't go out into the workforce with no experience at all.
Yeah.
You go out with just it's not a whole lot, but it's
It
a
can
little
be.
bit.
It can be, yeah.
Can be.
But it's good to say, hey, I can turn a wrench, or I know how to write some lines of code.
Or I know what these parts are. Like
Yeah.
I'm familiar with these. I've worked with them before. So
Yeah. So thank you so much for
Yeah, thank you.
everything. Yeah,
No
and
problem.
good luck with your robot in a weekend,
Thank you.
showing it off today. I can't wait to see it.
of course.
It's going to be going against mine, so I'm going to be like, it's going to be, you're going to like my
You're gonna
robot,
like-
I will
okay.
say.
We're a little
Okay.
biased to our own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
biased.
A little.
but it's
All right, we'll see.
There's a big surprise.
I mean, I only
Okay.
worked on it for like a couple hours, so I mean,
I was a full weekend. He was
Full
just
weekend.
one
He was
day.
just okay.
Yeah, so a little bit.
Well, thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. Oh.
Yep. So, yes, Robot Weekend will be happening later. I can't wait for that. It was great staying up till like midnight, past midnight, until next day, and just be like, yeah, 4 hours of sleep, and then back at it again. A lot of coffee that weekend.
Yeah, lots of coffee.
That's,
So-
that happens a lot of coffee. I've had a lot of coffee today too.
So, first tech challenge has grown to
Oh my goodness.
like there's
It's-
27 countries that use First Tech Challenge, and
Yep.
over 100 teams in the state of Florida this season.
I know, there's so many different leagues, and now it's like, before you would always see Florida teams go to World. I always loved that. There was always lots of Florida teams who went to World. Like in my senior year, 7 teams
From Florida.
from Florida went to the World competition, and I loved that. I loved seeing them. So
Yeah, I believe a Florida team
Florida teams are like in the
won the world competition.
they have many Florida teams have won World competitions before. I don't know who won last year. I'll say that. But here at ROBOTICON, it's a lot of fun. I love seeing all the teams here. And it's like, it's cool too if you're watching this live. You should really just come down to the USF Sundome. And we're giving out tours too. You're able to go not into the pits, but by the pits, and you'll have a volunteer talk about it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. What are you checking? What have you helped out with volunteering so far?
So far this season, just doing a little bit of the Robot of the Weekend that I could do. That's all I've done so far this season. But I spent the last 5 years in First Tech Challenge. Every year a new competition, mentoring other teams.
Just graduated, right?
Yeah, I just graduated.
So now you get to go into the volunteer aspect.
Yeah, I get to be a referee. I get to wear stripes.
It's a great job. I will say anyone who wants to be a referee, you should be a referee. Even if you've never been involved in FIRST Robotics. Like, you have to do training before you become a referee. So, like, you don't have to have been involved in FIRST before. You could just sign up, and then they get you through the training, and then you're able to referee. And they always need more referees, always need more volunteers, always need more mentors. So.
Yeah. You don't have to have much experience to be able to mentor a First Tech Challenge team or First Robotics team.
You don't have to have a lot of experience in the first organization to mentor.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you do want experience for like teaching these kids on how to write a business plan if they're having trouble funding, how they can make a robot, how to design a robot.
But a cool part about First Tech Challenge and First Robotics Competition, and those are the only two I really have experience with, there's a lot of making buttons. There's let's dress up in costumes based on our robot's team name just for fun, so that we'll be as enthusiastic as possible for the competition.
It is Team Pink from the FIRST Robotics Competition. I love that team. You guys are amazing with the pink hair, and their robots always pink, and it's just like they live up to their name, and they're crazy good dancers. I love seeing them in competitions.
There's a first tech challenge called Grease Lightning. Then they do the Grease Lightning dance. They're dancing over the car in the movie Grease. They perform that at the halftime of the competitions. It's really cool.
It is.
First tech challenge and FIRST Robotics Competition are almost as much about being enthusiastic and graciously professional as it is building the robot.
I think it's because we get to build the robots that we're then excited about it, and so we're like, yeah, let's make a dance because we're here celebrating robots. Let's just go all out.
Yeah, we just decide to take it to the next level just because we can.
Yeah, just because everyone wants like their mascots to go out there from schools. It's a real competition. So
I was on Team Duct Tape, which was a first tech challenge team, as well as Marissa, and we have a duck head that's made out of paper mache and then wrapped in duct tape, and we would wear this yellow duck head out in the field, around the pits, up in the stands, just as our mascot. Say, "Hey, Team Duct Tape."
Yeah, it's fun. You get to see all the teams and how they work, and here at the USF Sundome, we're already seeing mascots here too. You got the school's University of South Florida bull out here, and then seeing him interact with robotics mascots.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. So we're here with our next interview. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Could you introduce yourself to the live?
Yes. I'm Kalai Shankar, the founder and the head instructor at Shiva Robotics Academy. This is an educational institution where we teach robotics for kids starting from kindergarten all the way till 8th grades. So we do all levels of robotics like First Lego League Junior, First Lego League, and First Tech Challenge.
Wow, so Shiva Academy. Well, how about some more about where that is and the teams that you have there?
Yeah, we are based in Jacksonville, Florida, and we conduct classes in 10 different public schools. We conduct summer camps, spring camps, winter camps, and we even have cool Lego themed birthday parties. So our mission is to, right now robotics, there are companies trying to involve more kids in robotics, but we want robotics to reach to all the students out there. So we conduct robotics classes at a very affordable rate, and it's such a joyous environment, so kids have so much fun. And the good thing is we won the Innovators in Education Award from Jacksonville Business Journal for this year. So that's motivating us, and it's like creating such a positive ambience between the parents, and there's more and more kids jumping into robotics. I started my career out as an assistant coach for a First Lego League team.
Wow.
I was the only mom out there teaching all this bunch of kids, arranging for potlucks, pulling in other parents and doing it all over right in my living room. But right now, Shiva Robotics Academy, it's a 3,400 square foot facility in Jacksonville. It's a big yellow building. Anybody who drives past the beach boulevard, they will never miss it. So we are trying to make this we want Shiva Robotics to be like the McDonald's of robotics, having franchise everywhere. All the interested parents should jump in and make this opportunity available for lots and lots more of kids.
Wow, that's really amazing. What made you want to start this academy?
I had my undergraduate in computer science, and I'm a very passionate Indian dancer. So when I was teaching dancing to kids, I got that knack of how to handle the kids, how to get the job done from them.
Wow.
And then when I saw this first, it was like, wow, this is what I want to do for a living. And then I combined both the skills together. And that is helping me a lot in bringing out the passion. And I got the best coach of the year for the state of Florida for 2014.
Wow.
So I would say first it has refined my raw talent into a skill, and it has brought out the administrative skills from within me. And I'm able to teach robotics to a lot of kids, and especially little girls when they see a female coach around. they think, okay, I can do it too. And then they feel very comfortable around me. And we are trying to provide robotics to more and more girls.
Wow.
Is this one of the robots that your students have made?
Yes, so this is a robot which was designed by our rookie team. So Shiva Robotics Academy, we want more and more of rookie kids, rookie teams to come up. Because once we create the spark in them, they are ready to groom themselves and bring out the best. And this is our logo.
Ooh.
And we have the bright yellow and blue, so all our t-shirts, our cheering stuff, everything is in this color. And the kids, they help me design flyers for me, design the website for me. And the team parents, they take care of all the marketing.
Wow.
So they are the goodwill ambassadors for the team. They take care of my accounts and they 3D print cool Lego parts for me for the robot. So it's like a whole community development thing that's happening in Jacksonville. And we have Mark McCombs from Renaissance Jax. He's such a positive role model. He's bringing a lot of cool events where he's training more and more coaches. So Mark McCombs is a great resource for us in Jacksonville. And we are trying to do all the best things that we can in robotics in Jacksonville, Florida. And we really wanted to come down here to Tampa because this is a good venue where the new kids can see all levels of robotics. So instead of giving them an hour-long lecture and conducting an open house, why not just bring the team over so they can experience this whole thing? And you guys are doing an amazing job with ROBOTICON. This is our 4th year taking part in ROBOTICON.
Wow.
And we always have a great time here.
So how are the kids liking seeing all the other competitions and robots?
So they love it here. We have even one of our 6-year-old taking part in FLL Junior. And this is like, this is a great practice tournament because there's no pressure of the qualifier. There's no pressure of the team should make it to the top 1/3 to get qualified to the next level. It's like such a friendly environment. They can take it at their own pace. We took several pictures of other robots. The team is going to go back and they are going to work non-stop upgrading this robot. So next time when this goes for the qualifier, it's going to be an upgraded version.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we're all charged up. We had our first run, so already the team is working together. What's the strategy for the run 2? So this is a great learning experience here in ROBOTICON.
Is like a few of these kids their first time they're seeing things like this? Or?
Yes. It's a rookie team. So everybody is new to FIRST Lego League. So it's a bunch of students who I had for my summer camp. So all these kids, they are from different schools, from different neighborhood, different age range. We have some 4th graders and we have some 8th graders. So it's such a diverse group, but still they all blend together so well. And today, the entire day, they will be playing together, working together on the robot. So it'll create the team bonding in them.
That's such an important thing, too, of not just only working on the robot, but hanging out with your friends, too, and growing as more than a team, too, because once you're involved in FIRST, you're not going to get out.
Yes, that's what I tell them. I showed them the big robot. So I want you to see, I want to see you building those big robots. So do FIRST all the way through. Don't ever quit at all. I keep telling them,
When I started with FIRST Tech Challenge, I didn't really do it. I thought robots were cool, but I wasn't really into the robot when I started. My best friend was doing it. And I was like, okay, let's go have fun and I'll hang out and build robots. And 5 years later, he and I and a few of us others that have gone all the way through it are just going to town in the machine shop building robots all day.
And now you're on a show about talking about robots here at ROBOTICON.
Talking about building robots.
So in our building we have like Dr. Seuss verses written all over the places that you'll go. So doing robotics, all the places that you never know existed, you go there and all the doors which never know existed, it opens up for you all the great opportunities and possibilities. So they are the living examples of where robotics can take you.
All the volunteers here. More about Shiva Academy. How many robotics teams do you have?
So right now we have 4 FIRST Lego League teams.
Wow.
And we have more than 20 FIRST Lego League junior teams.
Wow, more than 20.
More than 20.
That's impressive.
Wow. How many kids are on like one team?
There's 6 teams on each team in FIRST Lego League Junior. So some of these teams are our in-house teams at Shiva Robotics Academy, and some of the other teams are school teams. So we have our staff, they go to different schools and teach robotics as part of after-school activity. So we have it in several schools. So we have a contract with several elementary schools. We send out staff and then they teach it for the students in extended day. So that's how it became more than 20 teams. But our role model, Mr. Mark, he has a greater vision. He has asked me to come up with at least 5 large season pass for First Lego League Junior. So we are working non-stop.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Very cool.
Yeah, and how do people learn more about the Shiva Academy?
So it's like I would say like whenever people see me, they don't even know my name, but they say the Lego lady because it's like a mobile robotics center. My minivan, it's loaded up with all the poster boards, with all the robotics kits. So whenever they announce there's an open house in a school, I'm there. Come on, give me a table. I'm going to set up robots and I'm going to display. So we have taken part in all the community events. So in all the regional events like JAX ICS, or we have taken part in whatever you name it, we are there. Where if you know that there's an event where kids are going to be there, I'll be there with the robot. So we have a lot of outreach program.
Wow.
And our alumni students, they come back and teach the younger kids. We conduct a cool event called Brickoween during the Halloween season. So students, they come dressed up in their costume. We have a robot building contest. So that's very popular around town. So that's creating a lot of buzz around the town.
When is this?
This is going to be on October 28th.
Can I come?
I was just gonna say the next question is, can we come?
You should. Yes, make sure you come in your costumes though.
Wow.
Yeah,
Where's that located? Because I really am really interested.
So Shiva Robotics Academy, it's at the end of Beach Boulevard in Jacksonville. It's in between Southside and University Boulevard. It's in the heart of the city, not too far from St. John's Town Center. And we conduct a lot of free events also. We conduct free coach training session for First Lego League Junior.
Wow.
And if they are moms, if they want their kids to be involved, we train them free of charge. We want more moms to come in here. Because when we saw a lot of girls getting involved in cheerleading and in gymnastics and dancing, we were trying to figure out why is it like more girls are getting involved in that, because we had a lot of active team moms in all those sports. So we wanted more girls to get into robotics. So more girls to get in, we need more female coaches. So we are offering free training for all the moms.
Wow.
That happens once a month.
Really?
Yes.
That
Very cool.
I know people always be like tough soccer moms. You gotta meet these robotics moms.
Yes,
like
yes,
that's
yeah, you should meet Mrs. Amy Yara. So she's such a rigorous active robotics mom. So she started out training the First Lego League team with their project. So she didn't have any technical skills at all, but she was really doing an amazing job with the projects for FLL. Now then when her kids grew older, she started being a team mom for First Tech Challenge team. Now she's helping out Mark with being an affiliate partner and the chairperson for First Tech Challenge for whole of Northeast Florida.
wow. So you start off as robotics mom and you just keep growing.
Growing, yes.
Oh, so you're the director, man.
Yes.
That's a
cool.
goal.
So it's like the whole family, we get groomed and we grow together with the first program. So the parents, they learn new skills, and then the kids, they learn it. And so the whole family comes together. So today I have my daughter in here.
Oh, wow.
I have my husband in here. He's a software engineer also. So every weekend, this is what we do. First is what we do.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, we party with First, and then all the team building activity, everything, it's with First.
It's
Awesome.
true.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you
Yep,
so much.
I'll have to give you this back. I don't want to let it go. But
Thank you so much. So I would clearly say to wrap up, first is like Midas touch to me, like the King Midas, whatever he touches, he asked for a wish like it should turn golden, right? ever since the time I got introduced to FIRST, it's been a golden touch to me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I want FIRST to touch the lives of more and more parents as well as students also. So that would be my rap.
Well, thank
Awesome.
you so
Thank you very much
much.
for
That was
coming in.
beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
The best
here.
of luck with your robotics
first-
programs,
Yes.
all of them.
And if
all
you're
of
free,
your-
I'll see you all around Brickaveen.
I will definitely be going.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah,
Thank you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Midas touch. I love that.
It's very good.
That's what FIRST Robotics has.
It's
It's,
a
the Midas touch.
It's a very good analogy.
It
for
is.
the
Once it
program.
touches you, you can't get out.
No, you can't.
No, because that is the thing. Like so many coaches, they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't in high school," and then they got into the job in college and they were active with it. But like Scott himself, he came back into it, and then it's just like you can't get away. Yep, it's just with me too. I'm off a team, but I've just became the first alumni at the University of South Florida president. So I can't get away. I can't get away from FIRST. It's forever going to be in my life.
I'm not going to be able to get away from it either. I had way too much fun with it in high school. And even the volunteering, because I did a lot of volunteering my senior year of high school, because our robotics team didn't do every event. And so I went to most other events and volunteered and had a blast.
It's
doing
so much
that.
fun volunteering.
It's sometimes it's more fun than being an actual student because we're not stressed out. We're not worried about anything as a volunteer. It's just about making sure that the kids that are doing it and going through the program are as least stressed out as possible. But they spend many hours working on their robot, many hours.
Yeah.
I think Team Duct Tape would log 500-600 hours in just building the robot. That's not programming it. That's just building it.
or outreach.
Or outreach.
Or volunteer work.
All kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. I think it's because we're in college. That's all you're worried about in high school, just getting into college.
Yeah.
And then when you're in college and you're volunteering, you're just like, oh, I don't have to be worried about what this is going on my transcript anymore.
Right.
I'm here, and I'm here to help these high schoolers because I remember what it felt like.
Yeah, and let's build a robot and have some fun.
Oh, so much fun. Always bring food to whatever meetup you're going with robotics kids. That's what I always do. Like if stuff starts getting stressful, you're like, eat, get sugar, and then be ready to hit back at it in 5 minutes.
Pizza and root beer.
It's the best. And then when you're in college, it changes.
No, it doesn't.
Slightly. No. It's
Goes
just
from pizza and
coffee.
root beer to pizza, coffee, and donuts.
Coffee. Coffee and donuts. Yeah. Well, Starbucks. There's a Starbucks at the University of South Florida's library. I have a lot of Starbucks.
So if you could pick one particular event, moment, deal that you absolutely adored when you were in FTC, what was your favorite point of First Tech Challenge?
You can't ask someone that. That's just, I was in First Lego League 2. I've been doing this for over 10 years now with First Robotics. So I'm like, you can't just ask someone that. But a memorable moment. My sister was on a team 3 years before I joined the Team Duct Tape First Tech Challenge. I was in FLL at that time, First Lego League at that time. So I got when she went to World on Team Duct Tape, I was able to go with her, and I think seeing teams from all over the world being there is what got me hooked. Because I'm like, whoa, it's not just some kids meeting up in a gym. No, it's a worldwide competition.
I would have to say, for me, my favorite moment, my favorite event was when Team Duct Tape won the Inspire Award for the block party competition. And I remember we had basically done open heart surgery to one of our friends, another team, and we spent our entire day just building and making sure that their robot was going to be able to compete for the last couple matches of the day. And then come to find out it was enough to get inspired. It was the coolest thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
It was so close.
One of the judges. We're not on the team anymore, so we can talk about this.
It was so close. It was like 9/100ths of a point. It was so close, and it was the GP points that your team got for sacrificing your own on-field performance to help another team get back on their feet.
Yeah.
Which is something. It's one of the things that I love about First, right? Because you don't find that in football. You know what I mean? You don't see a team go, oh, that team can't compete. Let's see what we can do to prop them up. You see, oh, you forfeit. Sad story, QQ, right? You don't see that in anything other than robotics stuff, where all of the teams really want the best possible competition, not to win by default.
Every final matches, it's always like, oh, every team gets like a 5-minute break, and they will all be used, and not for your own team.
Yeah.
I've seen it where the top seed alliance will give both their point breaks to the other alliance. Because like one of the robots is just not working, and then you'll see them going over and like, they want this to work.
Yeah.
They want a
and
good
everybody
match.
will give their own
Parts.
I'll give my time out so that my competitor can get back on their feet. That's crazy.
I've even seen it as in the finals. There was I don't remember what year this was, but there was 2 teams competing in the finals, and one of the teams, their robot wasn't going to work. They weren't going to be able to compete. They were going to have to forfeit. Well, they gave their timeout as well as going back to their cart and their shop and bringing parts over and then spending time and rebuilding most of the opposing alliance's robot just so they could have a fair competition to prove their robot.
It's such a great environment.
It is.
Of not just of competition, but of cooperation as well. And that's really, I think, the takeaway of this conversation. It is not just competition, it's cooperation as well. And because you can't feel good about yourself if you win by default.
No.
If you're going to win, you want to win. You don't want to be handed the win.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you earned it.
Yeah.
So, and that's such a cool, that's an engineering mindset. That's something that as engineers is just us. So I love that it follows through into the game.
Yeah.
Speaking of the game, what do you guys think about this game for FIRST Robotics Competition this year?
This is my first time seeing it. I love it. Like
because
everything.
you weren't at the Orlando Regional with us this year.
Nor was
I wasn't. Yeah,
right.
I wasn't able to go
You
because of
hosted
school.
with us the year before.
But
you weren't there this year. That's right.
I love steampunk too, by the way. But seeing it come up and like what the robots look like, I'm just like, oh my goodness, what's going on? I can't wait till competition starts.
It is a surprisingly complex game.
It is.
Not necessarily complicated, but complex. There are, to excuse the almost pun, there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot that happens. Like, there's the yellow gears that are handed up a rope from the floor to the airship. And the more yellow gears you can get up into your airship, the closer to getting your spinny things up top working. And then at the end, the robot has to climb. Not has to, but you know what I mean? Has to climb a rope of the team's choosing that attaches to the airship. There's so much going on this field that it's hard to follow.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. I see that it looks like our next group is here, so I'm going to dip out if you guys keep talking.
Yep. So, yeah, this is my first time seeing the field and watching it go up. Like yesterday, the towers weren't up yet, so I just saw the field itself, and the field itself is normally like it is every year to year. But today, all the airships are being built, the center towers are up, and I'm just like over in the corner being like, what else is coming? What else is coming out? Ooh, I can't wait to watch the competition. And like you can hear there's announcements, and that's for the first Lego League because that's out right now. But so our next interview's here. So hi, why don't you introduce yourself to the show?
Hi, I'm Erin Pietatelli from Team FRC Middletown.
Yep. So
Another Minotaur team member.
Minotaur member. So what do you think about ROBOTICON?
I think it's a really good event. We've come here for many years now, and every time we've come out having a lot of more freshmen, especially like new members, trained a lot better to compete in future competitions.
Nice. We did talk about that earlier too, how you bring new members and show them how a competition's gonna work, because you don't have the stress of a competition right now.
Yeah, and it helps train new members a lot. And then we also, I'm representing the entire Middleton Robotics Club, not just Minotaur, because I'm the president of the whole club, which includes one FRC team, 2 FTC teams, and a VEX team. So we have a lot of students there, and some of them from FTC also come to Roboticon to experience what a competition in general is like.
Okay, so Middleton, the school, you're the president of the robotics club. So that's involving all the competitions here at FIRST.
Yes.
What about more about that?
So we have the 4 teams, and then our FRC team, of course, is the biggest with over 50 students.
Wow.
And then we have the 2 FTC teams, which we maxed out the FTC teams. We try to always have freshmen on the team so that there's more sustainability. And then we also max out our VEX team. And it's one big club, so this year what we've tried to do a lot is push it so that the FRC and FTC teams especially are helping each other brainstorm. So FTC just released their game a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we had some FRC team members actually came to the FTC brainstorming, including freshmen. And we also have like a mentorship program with middle schoolers, and some of them came, so that when an FTC or FRC brainstorming comes along and the kickoff comes along, they'll have brainstorming experience. And they've also helped the FTC teams come up with good ideas.
Wow, so you're having a lot of, you're having team members from other teams mentor the freshmen of another competition.
Yes.
Wow, how does that work?
It's very collaborative. Everybody gets along really well in all the competitions and all the teams. And they always want to help each other out, and they're really interested in robotics and engineering as a whole. And it really helps that we go to a school that has an engineering magnet and the computer science magnet. So the kids already have some background knowledge in these fields, and they're all just super excited about robotics. So they enjoy helping each other out. So that just keeps them rolling out these like crazy good ideas and helping each other build them and figuring out, like, even though this might be like, they'll come up with a hard idea to make, and then just because they want to do it so badly, they'll make it happen, and they'll all help out how to make it happen.
Wow, man, a robotics team. That's a new one. Like, usually you'll hear a robotics team of just one school, and your Middleton has made this whole club out of all the different teams.
Yes.
Wow. How does coaching work? Is there like a different coach for each one, or?
Yeah, each team has its own coach. We have a lot of adult mentors. Well, not a lot. We have at least one per team, because if we just had one for the entire club, the club's over 100. It's almost 100 students. Wow. So having a mentor for just the whole club would be really hard.
Yeah.
So we have at least one mentor and one coach for each team. And the kids have really good leadership experience outside of robotics also. So when they come to the robotics program, it's really easy for them to take charge and get stuff done without the adults necessarily always like controlling everything that they do. And it just works out really well.
Wow,
Is there a big benefit to having multiple FTC teams working out of the same facility? Do they do a lot of collaboration between the two teams to make a better robot between the two of them?
Yeah, they do a lot of collaboration, but then they know that they're 2 separate teams. They'll have all these classes together at school, of course. But at the end of the day, they know that they're 2 separate teams, so they might end up with completely different robots, because one team might think, oh, this drivetrain it would be better suited for this game, or the other team might think this drivetrain is better suited for this team. But then they both talked about the pros and cons of every design aspect, and so they help each other out. And even if they end up with completely different designs, there's a little bit of both teams reflected in all of that.
Wow. Yeah, we were both in the First Tech Challenge, so we know the 2 Masquerade and Maelstrom First Tech Challenge teams from Middleton. That's a hard school.
Yeah.
Like it's a big name there in the first competition.
Especially in the state of Florida, you always hear about Maelstrom or
Masquerade.
Masquerade. You used to hear about Minotaur back when they were still a team years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we at one point we had 7 different teams at the school.
Wow.
But because we had multiple VEX teams and we had 3 FTC teams and the FRC team. But what that ended up happening was it was so stressful on the adults to plan out all those different teams and then to allocate all the fundraising to those that we thought it would be better to lower the numbers of teams, and then it ended up helping the FRC team size grow. And that ended up being better for us, having fewer teams than we did before. But it's really helped our teams be like powerhouses.
Yeah.
Definitely powerhouses. I've seen many of Middleton teams going to World.
Yeah.
That's
several
a big,
times.
Yeah, several times. It's always a big at the competition. You know they're going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yep. But so downsizing the number of teams helped you grow your FIRST Robotics team, and you were on FIRST Robotics?
Yeah, I was in the FIRST Robotics team for 3 years. I was the design sub-team lead for my freshman year and sophomore year, and then I was a co-captain my junior year.
Wow, that's cool. So you had a lot of leadership
Yeah.
in all of this, and now you're the president of the robotics club. How does that work out? How do you manage robotics teams, multiple of them?
So basically, the captains are very good at controlling their own team. So what we do is we do kind of like tiered. We have the captains, and then FRC of course has the sub-team captains. So it's as you go down the line of a command, I guess you could say, they get more specialized. And by having, I basically run the connections between all the teams and make sure all the teams know when we have outreach opportunities, when we have fundraising opportunities and stuff like that, and make sure all the teams hear about all these things. And I talk to the co-captains and to all the captains and then all the vice presidents. We have 3 vice presidents this year. So we've decided even the vice presidents are specialized. We have one vice president of training, we have a vice president of operations, and we have a vice president of design. So they can help out with all the teams.
Wow.
And we don't want to take control of the teams because we want them to be able to still be creative, and we want them to gain leadership experience also. So I'm not super hands-on with the teams, but whenever they need help, the vice presidents and the president, we all help out the teams when they need it.
Wow.
Very cool.
Okay, so key notes on if you want to build your school into powerhouse robotics competition teams. You gotta have a lot of leaders. It's not just people doing the teams. It's
even if you look at a smaller team, it's not just let's have a robotics team. There's stuff that goes into it. Yeah.
There's specialized positions, leaders upon leaders. You're basically saying everyone on the team is a leader of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or could
amazing.
become a leader of something.
It's like a mini little government you got.
Yeah. the team in the past, as our teams as the club's grown, we've gotten a lot more organized because we have to be organized in order for that many kids to be involved in the robotics program.
How long has the robotics teams at Middleton been around for?
We had the Minotaur FRC team. I think they went to Worlds in 2004, so they were around for a couple years, and then Minotaur FRC completely died, and then it was recreated the next year, with a year gap.
Yeah.
And then that's been around for a while now. I think since 2007 or so.
So already 10 years.
Yeah, it's been around for 10 years, and then Masquerade, I think they won Worlds in 2012. So we've been around for a while, but the FRC team has gone from nothing, just within our coach's memory, because he's been here since his son helped revitalize the team. And in his memory, we've gone so far in the past 4 or 5 years.
Wow. So every year you gain more knowledge, and you've gotten to the point where now you're you got leaders, you got specialists, you know how to make your teams, how to give your teams what they need.
Yes.
And that's who you are. You're the person they go to when they have questions
Yeah.
that someone else can't answer. Man, so like we're all talking about, with past interviewers, we've been talking about how there needs to be more female leaders in the FIRST competition, and here they are, still students.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll continue on with FIRST Robotics?
Yeah, I'd like to definitely help volunteer or mentor teams in the future, especially in college.
Oh.
And I think it'd be cool if my kids ended up, like, when that happens.
When that
Like,
happens.
I would think it'd be cool for them to get involved in FIRST.
It would be.
man.
Yeah.
It will. I'm part of a family my older sister has been involved in FIRST, and then I've been through the FIRST Tech competition. Now my younger brother is now involved. So once your family's in, I don't think you're gonna get out of FIRST anytime
Once
soon.
you're in, you're in. Because my little sister's getting into it too.
Yeah. See, so it's just like, there's no way you can leave FIRST. I think and when you're at this point where you are leading multiple teams and you know how to connect with people from on different teams and talk to the adults and mentors and all these different situations to deal with them, you're gonna be involved in FIRST for a long time.
Even if you don't want to be.
People will still be coming to you for questions. Oh man, is there anything else about the Robotics Club you want to mention?
Not that I can think of right now.
Yeah, that's a big operation.
Okay, so
school-wide.
you've got all these programs at your school. You've got several teams. What was do you have a highlight of the previous season for each team? Do you have a highlight that you've picked out that was your favorite part?
I definitely have one for our FRC team because that was the team I was most involved with. And that was last year was the first year that we really divided up the robot into many different parts. And we assigned a small group to every part. We prototyped all these different parts. And it ended up helping our robot work really well in the end. So we had one group design the climber, we had one group design the gear manipulator, we had one group design the drivetrain. And by doing that, it helped our robot become really specialized.
Wow.
So I think that was really good in terms of design, which is my favorite part. And I think I was happy that last year we actually ended up having parts of practices, hours of practices that we could dedicate just to programming, and we hadn't done that in years past.
Oh, that's always, programming always takes longer than you expect. You'd be 3 hours. You mean actually a day and a half.
Add 24 hours to that 3 hours, and you're good.
Yeah. But, wow, thank you so much for coming out. That is a huge operation that you're in charge of, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, I knew Middleton was big, but that big.
See, I had just looked at it that Middleton was the coordination between the teams was always done through the teachers. I didn't realize that the coordination team was through a member of one of the teams. It was a student-led program.
That's cool. It's all I got from that was oh yeah, there's leaders upon leaders upon leaders who are leading leaders, and it's just there's no more followers. People are oh, there's some people that are leaders and some are followers. No, in robotics, everyone's a leader of something.
Pretty much. There's always something that someone's got to be in charge of, because you can't just have...
You can't have one person in charge of everything.
No,
it's just not possible.
Especially with something as complicated as a robot.
Yeah, and it's not just the robot for FIRST Robotics. It's about everything about having to do with a business. You also have to do business plans, and you have to fundraise and outreaches, and that has nothing to do with the robot.
You've got your engineering notebook, you've got
judging,
all of it. There's many aspects to the scene. And the best part about FIRST Robotics and parts of FIRST Tech Challenge is that they run it like a business. You run your team like it's going to be some corporation, so there's no real difference between your team and a company that you're going to be in later on, except for you're donated the money instead of going out and producing a product. Your product is your robot.
Yeah.
And your team. It's very cool.
It is very cool. I like it. I love FIRST Robotics.
The most stressful fun I've ever had.
Oh. Our boss is trying to talk to us. But
hello?
can't.
Oh, there I am.
Hey.
Danielle went and turned my mic down earlier, and I forgot.
Oh.
That was the most succinct description of first I've ever heard.
Yes.
Most stressful fun I've ever had.
Indeed. So we're going to do something. I'm going to have Jacob is going to come sit in the guest chair for a few minutes, and Danielle's going to take Jacob's seat. And then
You're getting moved.
the two of you will continue afterwards.
Nice. I am actually going to take real quick.
Oh, hi.
Hey. Actually,
Hi.
can I step off the air real quick just to grab a drink because I've been talking nonstop?
No, absolutely not.
So I want to apologize for earlier when somebody just jumped through the frame.
Crazy, right?
And
it's not like we have like 500 barricades around here making sure that.
Absolutely no one can get through.
there you go.
Woohoo! I'm in assist spot.
But it's not like there's 500 barricades around here, like,
Right?
and signs saying badges only. If you don't have
It's
the badge,
everywhere.
don't come in because it's not allowed. We won't allow it. We will hunt you down. Absolutely, exactly that. Like, I don't know. I've been running around here like a crazy person.
Okay,
You
so
have?
you've
Yeah,
been,
no, I had to like. They had scheduling issues. Oh,
Okay,
and
so
it
you-
seems so smooth on here, but I'm running around in the back.
Okay, so Danielle, you've been out on the field. You've
Yes.
been down on the ground.
I have.
Looking at the other robots that are here from previous season, the stuff that's coming out for this upcoming season for FPC. What's the coolest thing you've seen today so far?
Well, that's a good question if I actually got a chance to see the things. I got to see the people, and the people are pretty great. Like, the atmosphere at these kind of conventions are absolutely great,
Yes.
and I can't say how much I love these.
Nobody's here because they don't
It's
want
like
to
a family reunion. You don't really miss your family, but when you come here, you're like, oh my goodness, my family is so awesome.
Yeah, like a lot of people like around these cons because I mean if you've been here once, which I highly recommend
Everyone should
coming
go
at least once. Like Roboticon is a really good experience, and especially for people who like are interested in robotics or children who want to be an engineer or even just something to do on the side. If that's not even your passion, there's so many different things you can do in FIRST.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if with FIRST Robotics teams and FIRST Tech Challenge, I mean, they make costumes and they have fun with costumes. So there's always someone.
There's a social media aspect. There's a writing aspect. There's just all kinds of different things you can do in
Arts
FIRST,
and
and it's
crafts.
not just coding. It's not just engineering.
Yeah, we do need glitter experts every once
Yes.
in a while.
Hey,
All
glitter
these.
or duct tape. Duct tape is also important.
Yes.
Everyone
Duct tape,
forgets duct tape.
glittery duct tape is the best.
It is. It gets everywhere, and it's so awesome. Watching guys freaking out about the glitter is the fun part.
Oh, I'll bathe in it and then go out in the competition.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Is there something we should know about you?
First Tech Challenge, it's not necessarily about the robot. It's kind of like off to the side. Yeah, you're building a robot, but
More
it's
than robots.
more than
More
robots.
than robots.
It's-
Exactly.
It's friendship. It's nerd community coming together, forming this amazing bond.
And that's why I highly recommend someone like even if you are just the slightest bit interested, just show up.
the biggest awards in First Tech Challenge and First Robotics Challenge don't go to the robot. The biggest awards go to the most character-driven team, the best team, not the best robot, but the best team.
Yeah.
Okay, to keep things interesting, and just to keep you moving, I'm going to put you in Marissa's seat for a minute for this next interview, and then she'll take her seat back in a minute.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna continue on with my solo thing because I do recommend coming out here if you have any questions. That's what Roboticon's here for. It's for people to find out more about FIRST, more about robotics in general. It's at USF, so there's USF clubs just all over here. I think we're going to be interviewing some soon.
Sure.
There's some on the schedule.
Okay, great. I was hoping we were going to make that happen.
Something about a rocket. Stay tuned.
And the thing about FIRST events like Roboticon is that they're always free.
Yes.
Yeah.
To
definitely.
the public, they're always free, so definitely check them out. I hit the wrong button.
All right, so we're here with our next interview. Hi.
Hi, my name
please?
is Russell. I am a senior mentor on Team 4997, and I'm also a senior mentor for the rest of the teams at Middleton High School.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So what does being a mentor mean?
So being a senior mentor for our club at Middleton is you help all of the newer students to robotics. So any of the freshmen who have questions about using tools or how to build a specific thing, they can come up to you, ask you, you show them, continue that knowledge so that when they have to teach, they have that understanding so that all of the next freshmen, all of the next sophomores and whoever will have that knowledge so that the knowledge continues throughout the years.
Okay. So being a senior mentor on the masquerade team, does that mean that you aren't necessarily like an active member, or what? How does that work?
Well, I'm a senior mentor for the club, and then I am the head designer on Masquerade.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm doing most of the CAD and most of the CAM for whatever we're going to be milling or fabricating. And then I'm also helping others within the club and on other teams.
Okay.
All right.
So Masquerade does most of its own machining and fabrication work. Do you guys do that at the school? Do you have facility for that?
Middleton High School has a CNC mill, and we have almost all of the materials that we need. So we just buy the aluminum for whatever we need to machine, and then we make the model ourselves. I make the model, and then I would use software to make the cam, and then one of our teachers at Middleton knows how to use the CNC machine, and he walks you through the process so you can mill out whatever you want with a little bit of help,
And
but you're still doing most of it.
The cam,
Yeah.
what is the cam?
So the cam is you take your model and you use software to tell the CNC machine where to go instead of writing it yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. So what program do you guys use usually when you're doing your CAD work?
So we use Autodesk Inventor, and then Autodesk Inventor has a plugin called HSM Express, which is what we use for the cam.
Okay.
And they work really well together, so that's just what we stuck with.
Awesome.
So starting out as a senior mentor, were you just thrown in there, or were you taught how to be a mentor?
Well, it's something that really only started this year.
Okay.
So the club leadership explained it as just how I explained it, which is just helping the younger teammates, which is not something you really need to be taught as a senior because I've been on the team for 3 years now. So
Is that a requirement?
no, it's for seniors who you do have to know a fair amount about robotics to be a senior mentor so that you can actually teach, but you don't have to have, there's no specific amount of years that you need to be on any of the teams to be a senior mentor.
Okay.
So being in FIRST, how has that helped you throughout your high school experience?
So being in FIRST has really brought together the hands-on learning that I participate in at my school. So a lot of the things that I learned in my engineering classes, I used maybe that day even in robotics. So it was a really good way to solidify the information that I learned in a way that stuck with me because I remember doing it.
Okay.
I remember learning something and being able to put it to use in a real-life application, which then I can use for the rest of my life.
Okay. So for the people that don't know, Middleton is a magnet program?
Yes, Middleton is a magnet program. So we have engineering, biomedical, we have a game design magnet, and we also have a CSIT, which is a computer science and technology magnet.
Okay.
All right. And then can you explain your magnet program?
So I'm in the engineering magnet. So the classes that we take are closely related to engineering. The first year class is Introduction to Engineering Design, and it's a really interesting course because as you progress throughout the magnet, you'll realize that class maybe wasn't necessarily hard, but that the transition from typical learning to this magnet learning was really difficult in the way that you had to kind of relearn how you learn.
Okay. All right.
And then the next year would be Computer Integrated Manufacturing and Digital Electronics. After that is Principles of Engineering and a engineering elective. And the final year is what's called EDD, which is Engineering Design and Development, where it's a capstone project where you spend the entire year doing one project.
Okay. And then being a senior, so what are your plans for after high school?
So my plans are to try and get into the best engineering college that I can, and from there on, I would like to just spend time with the company and during my college experience, so that afterwards I have a job waiting for me that I can, hopefully fulfill a spot in.
Are you planning on sticking with FIRST?
Yes, I do plan on sticking with FIRST. The top college on my list is actually WPI, which writes WPI lib for the FRC robots.
Okay.
So I'd be participating in FIRST there, which I'm excited about if I do get in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of networking that goes on at FIRST.
Yeah.
There's a lot of engineers, and your future bosses are mentors and end up being your friends here at FT's First Tech Challenge, First Robotics Competition. They end up being your mentor, best friend. Hey, come over, have a pool party, kind of guys you hang out with.
Yeah, it's really great because education is very important, but having the connections is sometimes even more important.
Yeah.
So getting those connections in FIRST is a real leg up. It's something that you can't really get many other ways. So it's extremely valuable.
Barry Bonzak, one of the
just about to go there.
the guy who runs around with golden shoes and a jumpsuit with an umbrella hat, he is one of the major guys in the Orion project with NASA.
Even if you weren't planning on sticking with FIRST, if that was not your initial plan, it will be your plan when it comes to Barry. Like you will be a part of the Alumni Association, and you will have a good time because Barry makes it a good time.
Yeah. I do remember at Worlds 2 years ago when I received my award, I yelled, "I love you, Barry Bonzak."
Exactly. And then we even have NASA tours once a year, just going out over to the Kennedy Space Center. And
the alumni gets to tour
awesome.
the vehicle assembly building.
It's awesome.
Yeah, being a FIRST alumni is definitely something I look forward to because it does seem really fun and really engaging.
Fantastic.
It's just as fun as being a member of the team without any of the stress of actually working on a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you wanted to put a plug out for your team, like where could people find out more about your team or learn to join? What can they do and where can they go?
So we have a couple of social media accounts. I don't remember the handles by name, but FTC 4997 Masquerade, Google search will probably get you there. And if anyone is at ROBOTICON right now, we have a poster board up near the FTC area, and there is there's a small QR code that you can scan if you're interested in helping out the team.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us today.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Like I said, you can't, or like you guys were talking about earlier, you cannot escape robotics. You're stuck.
All right, I'm switching out with Marissa.
I'm alone.
Hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
It's not the first time that you've been alone on air. It's okay.
I'm alone. Let me just talk to myself for a good amount of time.
A minute. Just a minute. I'm here for you.
Yeah. So I wasn't here earlier, but it looked like you guys were having a good time.
Oh yeah, great time. That's why I had to get a drink. It was a lot of talking.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, so our next interview is here. Hi.
Hi, I'm the next one, huh?
Yeah. Can you please introduce yourself for us?
My name is Ken Johnson. I am director of First Tech Challenge.
Okay. So what does that entail, being the director?
What doesn't it entail?
Okay, let's go there.
Oh, let's go there. So First Tech Challenge, director of First Tech Challenge, our responsibility, my team's responsibility is to develop the program, everything from the game to the rules, develop the field, so developing partners that execute the program, and that includes everything from outreach and events like this to helping coaches succeed, to finding funding to hold the events, building volunteer communities, and of course all under the umbrella of espousing, technology and all the great things you can do with it. So we have a team, direct First Tech Challenge team of about 12 employees, but we have over 6,000 teams that we work with to make that all work together.
Wow.
So we depend a lot on our volunteers too. You might know the statistics, but about 500,000 students go through FIRST programs annually, and that is facilitated by about 150 staff in Manchester, New Hampshire, but about 150,000 volunteers.
Okay.
So we really do depend on our great volunteers to make all the magic happen.
Yeah, there's volunteers everywhere, every
Yes.
event, and they're great to talk to. I love talking to the other volunteers too.
I think, when you see these events, your eyes are drawn to the students and their accomplishments, and it's amazing. That's what it's all about. But I think that as compelling a case could be made as to the wonderful volunteers that are involved, because these, not only is it 150,000 volunteers, I think we calculated last year it was about 13 million person hours that are put in by the volunteers. And as you know, these volunteers aren't just people looking for something to do. They're all extremely talented and motivated folks. So they inspire, I think, the FIRST staff as much as the kids do, because we directly interact with those volunteers.
And each volunteer has their own story about the events they go to, and it's remarkable.
It is. Yeah. It is. We have some sponsors who get involved with FIRST because they see the mission and the value of the mission, but it's also a way for them to get their employees directly involved in a philanthropic enterprise. And some of those companies have found that the process of volunteering with FIRST is great training for those volunteers, because they bring those skills back into the workplace, and all the types of things that we teach the kids are being taught through those volunteers, and they can bring it back the other way as well. So the same type of environment where a really high-functioning FIRST team works is the same types of attributes that you'd love to have in your own company and those teams.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite things about the volunteer system is sometimes it comes full circle. A student on a team, then they graduate to a mentor, and then they volunteer, like we have volunteered through FIRST as we graduated through FTC. And then one day we'll have kids and they'll come right back. It's just a full circle.
It's like the mafia. You can never get out. You've got you're in for life.
That's what I say. It really is. You are always involved in FIRST, and I would like to know how you got involved in the FIRST.
Wow. So I got involved in FIRST about 10 years ago, and I had not heard anything about FIRST. FIRST wasn't around when I was in school. And I had spent up until that point about 17 years in technology-based business development all over the place, and kind of got to that point where I really saw the value in technology driving the evolution of our world, and wanted to be more directly involved in trying to widen that path for students that would come after me. So it was my first nonprofit organization I ever worked for was FIRST. I volunteered in a bunch of different ones, but my first employment in a nonprofit was FIRST, and it was 10 years ago now. It'll be 10 years in November, almost to the day, and it really did satisfy almost every one of those desires to try to give back and to build the future. And this is the best way to do it. And you guys know you've gone through it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So how are you enjoying ROBOTICON?
I love it. So this is my second ROBOTICON.
Okay.
Yes. And
the second year in the Sundome, right?
The second year in the Sundome. Yeah. And so Terry Willingham kind of got me plugged in. And I made the mistake once to mention that I actually went to school here at University of South Florida. So she very adroitly picked up on that and enlisted me in doing everything that we could to help make it a success here. And the university has been great. I take no credit at all for the support that the university has given, but I am really proud that my alma mater is a part of it. So, and I do have an affinity to this area. I think that there's a great deal of energy down here. There's a great deal of creativity. And boy, the area continues to grow, so it just supports all those kind of underlying raw material that's there for great things to happen.
Yeah. And what's your favorite thing at ROBOTICON? Like, what's your favorite aspect of it?
I like the fact that you can take a step back, you can be right about where we are here, and you can see all the programs in one spot.
Exactly.
So we talk about K through 12 and inspiring those kids all the way through, and you can literally see it in one shot right here. And probably more important, they can see it in one shot, because there is no terminus until you get through 12th grade, and then you can go on and do whatever you want. But having the opportunity for especially the younger students to see what the kids that are a little bit older than them are doing, you can see the lights go off in their eyes.
Definitely.
Go on in their eyes, I guess.
Yeah,
they light up.
I really like the passion that this event brings everyone. Like
Yes.
we all feel really passionate about robotics and FIRST in general.
Yeah.
And this is just it's a great experience, I think.
You have everything here. You have from first Lego Junior all the way to the FIRST Robotics Competition, the other competitions in between. And then we're also at a college, so that shows like these are high schoolers and they get to see like, oh, colleges do all this stuff, and there's University of South Florida engineering clubs here. And I'm a student here, and a lot of the FIRST alumni who study at USF also are volunteering here.
They get to see what's next.
There's everything, and then we have companies here who are showing off their technological companies, and it's just, there's everything. And then the public gets to come in, and then you see all these people who are like, whoa, what's this? And then these kids get to tell more people about what they're doing here.
I love that.
Yeah, this is, you know, everyone has their own story about how they got involved in FIRST, and every one of those stories begins with an awareness, right? You have to know it exists before you get involved, and ROBOTICON does that better than almost any event that I can think of. And we really, from a headquarters perspective, would love to see more and more of these types of events happen because, you know, at the end of the day, our mission is to inspire the next generation of technology leaders, and the only way we do that is to get more and more people involved. So the fact that, you know, the average person might not know of FIRST is a shame. So these events do a lot to help that. And you can see with things like you're doing right here, the press that is here, the other press that is here, there's that pool is expanding and expanding. So it's really heartening to see. And we look at, you know, I'm not sure when you joined FIRST, but if it's, you know, more than 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, it's not quite double in size since then, but it's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we aspire to do here with First Looks.
Yeah.
Like that's why we created the show.
That's your mission too,
It's
right?
our mission.
Get more people.
We want
People
to bring
know.
awareness. Yeah, because this is it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Even if, and that's what we were talking about before you came on air. We were talking about how it's a fun thing to do, even if you're not even interested in robotics or in engineering. There's so many different aspects to just FIRST.
More than just robots, right?
More
It is
than
more than
robots.
just
More than just robots.
The gracious
Tagline.
professionalism.
That's right. That's right. And so it's funny too because we talk a lot about this at FIRST, and it when people start to bring up the topic of, you know, hey, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a scientist, that brings with it a lot of perceptions, right? Some people automatically think of the wonderful things that scientists and engineers can do, but a lot of people, especially younger people, automatically think of, boy, there's a lot of tough math classes in that path, or there's a lot of, you know, dry subjects that I might not immediately resonate with. But being able to kind of flip that script around and give the kids a compelling challenge with technology that's relevant and the support around them through mentors and training to get them there, it really does flip that equation around from saying, hey, here's some really important math topics you should learn, to, hey, here's a challenge, here's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. And the human mind is normally a problem solver, right? Mm-hmm. So you get this challenge and you get this kit of parts and you get these technologies and you automatically start thinking, you know, like solving a puzzle, how would I do this? And then you can see what other people are doing and you get inspiration from that. And then next thing you know, the learning is a byproduct of it. And I don't need to tell you guys this.
Yeah,
You've
it's
been
the
through
hands-on
it,
experience that happens before you get into the field.
Yeah. And so there's the other side of that equation, right, is the sponsor side. So the sponsors being able to see all this happen, and just as you mentioned, as more and more alumni are out there, more and more companies are going to have experience with alumni and say, holy smokes, that's what we're looking for. So we've seen that in the colleges already, and this year we have over $50 million available in scholarships to FIRST alumni from over 200 different institutions. So it's a pretty wide breadth of college or university that students have to pick from that are offering FIRST scholarships. And that, again, is because the FIRST students don't just exhibit an aptitude towards technology, but all those incredibly important skills of teamwork, gracious professionalism, all those things, because technology is going to change. It always does. But those abilities to understand and assimilate technology and do it in a team environment, those are the critical skills.
And it also brings like an opportunity for people who are, for students who can't go to college, or for students who want to learn more about engineering and they don't have the opportunity to.
Right. I can't tell you how many sponsors that I have talked to at events like this, where they see the kids compete and they say, I would hire that student right now. And we say, hey, well, they might want to go to college first. But they're true. And there's a lot of great internships that spring out of that. And all of it is in that pathway to really show them what the possibilities are. Because, with young people have a narrow field of vision in terms of experience because they're young. So all of that ties together to really give kids opportunities that they otherwise might not thought possible.
Yeah, it is amazing what FIRST can do for the younger generation. And I've had people on my team, and instead of going to college or getting a job straight away, they went to the Vista Corps.
Oh, great.
And they actually have a partnership with FIRST Volunteering to where he graduated high school, but he decided he was going to do the Vista Corps, and he's now a Vista volunteer for FIRST Robotics.
Oh, wow,
and
that's
so
tremendous.
he's coming back, and that's what he's doing with his life right now. And he's saving up money through the corps to go to college.
That's tremendous.
But there's so many different ways.
Yeah. So the
remarkable.
Vista program in FIRST, I think, is just a few years old. So 3-4 years ago, we didn't have any involvement, but that's been a tremendous program from both perspectives. There's a great benefit to FIRST in terms of spreading the word and making resources available out in the field, but it's also a great opportunity for the people that go through the Vista program, especially ones that are interested in science and technology, and even more so ones that have been involved in FIRST, because they're, as you know, the best ambassadors of FIRST are the students that have gone through it and the coaches that have volunteered for it.
Yeah.
The best advertisement we can have.
It's actually the reason why this entire program is done by alumni and family of alumni.
Yes, I had the conversation just earlier today. If you put out an unstructured problem of how do you get 150,000 super talented people to come together and donate 13 million plus person hours per year, like how would you do that? I don't know, create a religion or something like that. And that's certainly not what we set out to do.
Robotics religion.
Yeah. So I think that the makeup, as we talked about before, of the volunteers, it is definitely an affinity group. There are people that really share the same vision and passion. And I think all definitely realize that they're helping create the future.
Yeah. I have a question that traces back to not this. So I'm guessing that your position comes with a lot of secrets when it comes to working on the game and the.
Are you
the
asking about the new game?
No, I'm not asking about the new game. It's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay.
I'm just asking how you deal with the secrets.
I never look at it that way. So the safest thing is to always say nothing, but I don't have the type of job where I can do that, or the personality, I don't think. The FIRST community is incredibly respectful, first off, and they realize that, of course they would all love to know what we've got planned for next year. And we do have, like I said, it's an 18-month game design cycle, I think I mentioned earlier. So we are, 6-7 months into the game that will be released next September. But although everyone would love to know what that game is, they also have the rationality to know that I can't just tell you.
Yeah,
or
obviously
you.
can't just, especially on air.
Right.
I was going to say the live camera probably really limits that capability.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll
I'm
tell you
not
guys later.
asking what the game is. I'm
No,
just
I know.
asking the scenario around it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do sign an incredible number of non-disclosure agreements, because just like we run on the backs of volunteers, that doesn't stop with events like this. But game design is largely volunteer driven, but we have a very small core group of folks that are really good at keeping secrets. But we also reach out to industry to understand kind of what is new and different and coming down the pipeline. And we try to occupy that space that is not bleeding edge technology, because there's a lot of gotchas in that, but close to leading edge, because we really want the students and the mentors and other folks that are involved to be able to get their hands on really relevant technology. So for instance, in FIRST Tech Challenge, the Android operating system really allows us to create about 60,000 potential mobile app developers, because that's what they're actually doing when they program their robot. They're programming a mobile application that gets used on an Android device. So we do have to stay connected with a lot of different folks to stay relevant and to make sure that we're paying attention to the important things, while at the same time keeping it quiet enough so that we're not tipping our hand. And it goes to more than just the game design. The technology choices that we make, there's really quite a few facets on it. So part of it is relevancy, part of it is cost, part of it is adequate training that's out there, because if we're the only ones creating the training, that can be problematic as well. It includes commercial partners that can actually provide the technology and do it in a way that is a bit unique. You know, we don't have a normal demand curve, as you can imagine. When we announce the game, there's a huge spike in registrations and interest, and that pulls a lot of that technology and product too. So there's a lot of things to juggle to make sure that we've got all those right, and we don't always get it right, but we try our best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders.
I have an incredible team. I think that in my career, I can't think of a better group of folks that I have ever worked with. And I think that one of the reasons for that is that FIRST just attracts, whether it be volunteers or employees, just some really wonderful people. And having a mission as we do really makes it easy to get up in the morning and do the work. But I can tell you, you know, as you mentioned from the energy that we see here, this is the best part of the year for the FIRST staff, because, you know, between championship, which we finish and we're all exhausted, and half the people come back and they got a cold or whatever, and now it's really kind of, you know, putting the hay in the barn and mending the fences and getting ready for the next year. But that disconnects us a little bit from all the great energy that we see here. So once we get that fall thing going, you know, everyone's batteries get recharged, even though we're traveling more and running a little bit faster on the hamster wheel.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. This has been great.
Thank you.
So if someone wanted to find out more about FIRST or wanted to get their hands dirty in the field, where can they go and what can they do?
The best place they can go is our website, and as you probably have announced, it's www.firstinspires.org. That's where you can find all the information. You can look by program, you can look by area. One of the best things that I would suggest for folks that are interested in getting more involved in FIRST is to go onto the website, find out what's happening in their area, and then reach out to the partners in that area. So if you're in the Tampa area, the best place to connect would be for the folks that are here. But from an overall perspective, certainly things like scholarships, grant opportunities, other things like that, the FIRST website's a great place to start. And we have an extensive library on how to get started, how to raise funds, how to program, all those different things there. Almost can be a little bit intimidating with all the information we've got there, but that's the place to go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
And thank you so much for coming to Roboticon. It's great
I
seeing
love
you
it.
here.
I love it. All right.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I know, I was really excited when I found out that someone from FIRST, who's
The
a
director of FIRST.
Oh.
And like he was saying, like, you can go on the website, and it's not just for students.
No.
It's for volunteers, and that's like what makes the community. The community as a whole involves everybody.
Yeah.
And you can start even as an adult who's not in high school or not in K through 12. You can just join and
Start
help out.
helping and get involved.
It's great.
It is. So our next interview. Hi, do you think you can interview yourself for the people watching?
My name's Tony Glockler. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solid Professor.
Okay. So Solid Professor, what's that?
So we do engineering software skills readiness for students. So if they're looking to learn engineering software tools such as CAD tools, CAM tools, design for manufacturing, general GD&T, basically any tools software tools are going to be used in engineering and design.
Okay. So how did this idea, or like how did you join this company?
FIRST?
Solid Professor.
Solid Professor first.
So it kind of came out of, I guess, born out of need. So I co-founded it with one of my co-founders, Pedro Santana, and both of us were in the software space, so kind of CAD experts. And 2004 is when we kind of identified that there's really not a lot of great ways to learn how to use CAD tools, and specific it was SolidWorks, which I think is used pretty readily amongst the FIRST teams here. And
SolidWorks Inventor, almost every team uses.
Yep. And so, yeah, we cover SolidWorks. That's where we started. and just recognize that you either went to a classroom or you bought a book. And it wasn't always the best learning experience for a tool that has a lot of capabilities and you need to go back and refresh yourself frequently.
I actually was using this program in my class last year, and I had a SolidWorks class that's required by the USF coursework here, and that was required to take the class was to get Solid Professor.
Really?
So I've been able to use you guys.
Wow.
Yeah,
How did it go?
Yeah. It was great. I passed the class. Like, I got an A in this class, and Solid Professor was a great help. And it was skills that I was able to teach again I'm now a mentor for Team Duct Tape.
Really?
And I'm able to help the students, and they're like, oh, how does this work? And I'll be like, I still have Solid Professor, so I'm always like, oh, let's look it up, because you don't always remember.
That's
you do go back and
fantastic. That just
So you can
brightened
still go
my
back
day.
and reference everything on
It
Solid
is.
Professor. That's cool.
It has video references, like you can watch videos on how to use certain tools, and I love using it.
Did you make your way through and get certifications as well?
I got a certification through the school. We had a student certification. It was part of the class that you had to get certified, so that did happen. I didn't go through all the way to Solid Professor because coursework and stuff, but I was using it for references and homework. So
fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. So, what are you doing here at ROBOTICON?
I'm here to support, for one, and then two, just to see the action. So we started sponsoring the FIRST Robotics last year, and I haven't made it to any of the events yet.
Oh, so this is your first time?
This is my first time.
Awesome.
So it's been fantastic.
So what do you think?
I think it's great. I wish I would have had something like this when I was in school.
Yeah. And what's your favorite part of ROBOTICON?
My favorite part so far? Actually, I haven't made it down on the floor yet to see all of the specifics, but I love the challenge in general and how it's broken up into a couple different categories. So I was talking to Ken from the FTC, and he was sharing that quite a bit of it isn't just the exhibition about like the hands-on part of it, rather the process that you go about, how you get scored on that, and then once you're on the floor and how well your robot executes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a complicated program on how to perform well. It's not just the robot. It's everything involving in the robot too.
And how did Solid Professor connect with FIRST?
That's a great question. I think we work with a lot of different schools, and I think through all the schools we work with, there was someone had introduced us to FIRST and said, hey, this might be a great fit. Because I think one of the great things about FIRST is that it's not just about the CAD tools, which is frequently taught in schools, where it just becomes how to use the software tools. And FIRST, what's great about it is that you end with a lot of emphasis on the manufacturing part of it as well, so hands-on skills. In my background, I was a mechanical engineering student at UCLA, and I thought there was a big gap because I was completely disappointed when I made it to my senior year, and the only hands-on skills that we got from my years in school was a senior project. So it was a total disappointment. And then I see this, and I go, this is fantastic. I can't wait to get my girls started in this program.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be in the FLL first, though. They're going to be Legos to start.
Yeah.
But they'll make their way all the way up.
Okay. I was curious on like what kind of what's the range of the programs you guys provide?
Great question. So we cover everything from SketchUp, which is a little more of an introductory CAD tool, all the way to the kind of the commercial production type tools. So like we talked about, SolidWorks, Inventor. We also do manufacturing, so Mastercam, CamWorks, and then we also cover some of the other kind of engineering topics such as GD&T. So as you're getting into production, you want to know kind of more manufacturing-based skills. Design for manufacturing, we have a course on that as well. So everything from the kind of introductory CAD type tools all the way through manufacturing the capabilities. We also do analysis, so if you want to see, I don't know how much people go into that here, but if you want to see if a part's going to fail or how an assembly is going to operate and in whatever its environment is, we cover.
So it's concentrated in engineering?
Yeah, we focus completely on the engineering space.
Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, and it is a great tool because almost every team uses SolidWorks Inventor, and learning how to use that is always a challenge because these are high school students, and not all of them have classes in their schools on how to use SolidWorks. So it is And going through YouTube and trying to find tutorials is a hard,
Yes.
long process trying to find that. So
the right like professor, like the right person who can teach it to you. That's
Yeah.
also pretty difficult. How do you like overcome stuff like that?
So frequently, there's a lot of great teachers we already work with, and so they might have some of their own curriculum already, or maybe there's some projects they want their students to work on. And we really fit in as a supplement. So if there's, if you can really take Solid Professor as a kind of pull it out of the box and start using it type of a solution, or if you already have a curriculum. So a lot of the instructors we work with already have some great projects that they work with, whatever it may be, and then they'll use us as kind of supplemental material so students can learn kind of in a flipped classroom kind of environment where you can go through and you can get caught up with the material. And then the instruction time can be real valuable hands-on time where the instructors are actually engaging with the students and you're actually building something in class.
Okay. Is this something that's like a package? Do you like purchase a package of classes, or like how does it?
How do people get Solid Professor?
Like how does it work?
It's a box that we ship in the mail. I'm just kidding.
with multiple professors inside.
And you just
I would like one of those.
it, and there it is. No, it's all online, so it's pretty straightforward. So any of the schools that we work with, you sign up, and each student gets their own account. And so what's great about that is that you can use it kind of for linear learning. So instructors can create a homework assignment, and that assignment then becomes the curriculum for the class year or whatever the quarter is, the term. It could have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all the way through whatever the term length is assigned by the instructor. But then students also have access to the entire library of material. So if you want to do your own self-study and get a little bit further ahead, maybe you have an interest in CAM, maybe an interest in simulation, other topics, students can kind of work their way ahead.
Is this something that students pay for?
Yeah, so it depends. A lot of the high schools we work with, it's purchased by the high school for them. And then once they graduate, one of the big benefits is once you graduate, you have access to that material afterwards as well. So it's not just in classroom, but
cool.
After you've left, maybe you've got an internship or you've got a job over the summer, whatever it may be, you continue to have access. So it keeps you, keep your skills up to speed.
Yep. And that's in my class too. I did have to pay for it, but that's college everywhere. You do have to pay. Colleges, you have to buy everything yourself. But now I do have access to it, and I still continue to use it.
Okay. Sounds like a very valuable tool.
It is. I will testify that it is a very great tool, and that I still use it today.
That's great to know it's working. I didn't just say it, you said it as well.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
She's living, breathing proof.
Yes, case study right here.
Yes, right here, yeah. Yeah, but I tell people who sometimes mechanicals do have to take this class, but I know electrical engineers that want to learn SolidWorks, and I'm always like, oh yeah, Solid Professor, it's the greatest tool. Like they always say, like go to YouTube, but I'm like, nah, you gotta pay to get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, problem with YouTube, you don't know where you're gonna end up. The first video, and then next thing you know, you're looking at sailing vacations.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
so bad. Yeah, not so bad.
And then you get off topic, and then you're wasting time, and at least that's just me.
Different use of time, yeah, different use of time. Maybe not focused time.
Yeah.
Okay, and some more about you being here at ROBOTICON, that you're sponsored for FIRST teams.
Correct.
How does that work?
So very straightforward. Any FIRST teams that would like to have a Solid Professor account for their team, you can go to our site, or you can reach out to us through our site and request an account for your team. We'll sponsor any teams for FIRST. So just submit that through the form. We'll create an account for you so that anyone on the team can get up to speed with any of the software tools or any of the topics that we cover. So yeah, we're super excited and, to be sponsors for FIRST. It's been a really great experience. So it's free account.
Does that also work for alumni teams? Because I know I mean, my school, I go to Florida Polytechnic University. It's a new school in Lakeland. We have an alumni team that works on the FIRST Tech Challenge. We do like robot in a weekend, and we use those valuable tools as well. So I was just wondering, like, if that was an opportunity.
I think I know someone that might be able to hook you up. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
Sounds like you guys are continuing to live the dream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we're talking about, like working with FIRST even after graduating from our teams.
Yeah, here at USF, I'm the president of the FIRST alumni club here. So
There's an alumni club as
there
well.
is at USF, and
There's an alumni club
Polytech.
also
Yeah,
at
now colleges are having their own first alumni club. If you're involved in USF,
That's
you
how
should do
big
this.
FIRST is.
Because
I love it.
because once you're in first forever.
You're stuck.
First for
They
life.
keep
Yes.
you in.
just shy of a required tattoo.
Well, thank you so much for coming here.
And I don't think we got your website. Can you just list out your website for
Oh.
anyone who's interested?
Very, very straightforward. It's www.solidprofessor.com.
Find information there, and thank you so much for coming
All right.
on.
Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of your Roboticon
I will.
experience.
I will. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, I have used that before, and it was a great help in class.
That
and
is so
now
interesting.
learning that, I loved how you're like, yeah, so how about for first alumni
For-
teams?
for
I'm like,
first alumni teams.
I'm here in my head going like, oh, I could have used this last year. That's what went on.
So, I mean, we know we can go on the website. We can contact him.
Yeah.
There are hookups.
First teams.
It's really cool.
Seriously, this is going to be your greatest asset because I know Team Duct Tape, we love making all of our parts in CAD and SolidWorks first because we don't want to waste time, materials, or money buying these parts. So we do it in CAD to know that it will work, that it will fit.
Okay.
And this is a great thing.
And we're here with our next interview. Hi.
Hi. Could
Hello.
you introduce yourself for the audience?
My name is Joanna Sanders. I'm a member of the Edgar Allan Ohms team 5276, and I am the safety captain.
Okay. Safety captain, very important job.
It is.
So how do you talk a little bit about Edgar Allan Ohms?
So the Edgar Allan Ohms is a team that is based out of the Land O'Lakes Library. We were the first team to be based out of a library, and I believe we are still the only team, the only FRC team. We have a lot of amazing equipment that we could never have been able to get without the support of our community. The library is just a huge help to us as a team.
Okay. And which library do you use?
The Land O'Lakes Library in Pasco County.
Okay.
Wow, so you're an FRC team, a FIRST Robotics team out of a library. That's pretty cool.
It is.
It's not just quiet anymore,
Yeah.
is it? 'Cause
We actually have a whole separate area for us. We share it with our woodworkers. We have a whole walled off area. It's kind of like an aquarium where patrons of the library can see in and see us working. We call it the Foundry.
It's like my school. We're like in a bubble. People walk by.
people want to see.
Yeah.
You want to see. Do a lot of people get to see what you guys are going on?
Yeah, a lot of people get to see it.
So is this like a relatively new makerspace, or can you describe the library?
The makerspace, I want to say it's about 6 years old now.
Okay.
And the library is a lot older than that. It's one of the older buildings of the county. It's a lot of patrons go to it every day. It's a very strong part of the community.
And what kind of machinery do you guys use for FIRST Robotics Competition?
For FIRST, we use some of the woodworking tools, not many of them. We have a drill press that we use. We have a circular saw, some jigsaws. We have a few different drills. Trying to think of anything in specific. We have a very strong supercomputer that we use.
Okay.
$3,000, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to protect it. Since we have woodworkers in the same room, sometimes sawdust gets around it. Yeah.
So protect that thing with your life.
Yeah.
So how is that? You're working from a library, so there is a shared space, and you're already saying that you share it with woodworkers. How does that work?
We try to keep us, our work on our side, their work on their side, but we will collaborate. We were building a case for our laptop that we use for our driver's station, and the woodworkers are going to help us plane it. We couldn't get it finished for this competition, but we need to plane the wood that we're using, and they're going to help us with that, and we've helped them with equipment sort of problems.
Wow. That's one way of connecting with the community. I love that. It's great.
It is. So more about your team. How long has Edgar Allan Ohms been around?
I believe we've been 5 years. We originated out of our old lead engineer's garage. I was not with the team back then. I joined 2 years ago. But slowly we've been able to build up to where we are now. The makerspace it's really an amazing place. We have a lot of metal, which I didn't mention. A lot of metal, a lot of tools. it's just an amazing place to be.
How many people on your team?
Last year it was 17. I think it's around the same this year. Yeah, just around.
And how long
17.
has your team been around?
5 years.
5 years?
5 years, yeah. And where these students who come to a library, because this isn't from one school, like, do all of your team members come from the same place, or?
No, we actually don't. Me and one other person come from Sun Lake High School. There's a lot of our programmers come from Land O'Lakes High School, and a few of our members are homeschooled. So it gives an opportunity to homeschool students as well that usually wouldn't get to participate or wouldn't even know about it. They'd get to know it through like outreaches we do at the library. We'll like show off the robot when they have like events.
And how did you get involved?
There was a robotics class at my school, and at the time they didn't have an FRC team, and I was really interested in like getting farther into robotics. So I went to the library. I go to the library a lot, and I didn't know they had a team. So I looked into the makerspace, and I saw some of my friends from band, and they invited me to come in, and I joined the team.
Do you know how your homeschool students on the team heard about the FIRST Robotics Competition?
I'm not entirely sure. I know one member, her boyfriend was in the club, and then she became a very active member. And then he isn't homeschooled, but a member that came to us from Illinois, he learned about the team from our website, which we've had up for a year now.
Awesome.
Wow, that's a lot of different ways of getting your members.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like it's a community team. It doesn't matter where you're from. Or
Yeah, we try to be very open.
Yeah, and we were a part of Team Duct Tape, which was also a community team, so we can definitely
we were
resonate with
working
that.
out of our coach's garage too. So
Yeah.
But we also moved just to Team Duct Tape. The First Tech Challenge team just moved to Regency Center Library. So there's now a First Tech Challenge at a library. I do know that, and it's so cool. Like, that's a real, like, people can get involved no matter where you are, because these are libraries.
Yeah.
This is open to the public.
And actually, Regency is one of our sister libraries, so we've actually been over to Regency a couple times.
Nice. So you get to help out, like, the other teams too. Outreach teams or yeah, it's community teams helping out community teams.
Yeah.
I also like how, like, the library experience is kind of growing. Like,
not just books.
I don't think people realize that, like, libraries used to be just hush hush, read books, come in. Sometimes there's a hobo. But now it's like there's this, like, high quality machine work that goes on in a library, and I don't think many people realize that libraries are evolving.
Yeah, like our library has the books. It also has a game nights. We just had a game night yesterday. We have the makerspace. I think, is it Regency or Hudson? Regency or Hudson has a sound design studio in it.
Okay.
Wow. I need to go to more libraries. That's what I'm getting from this conversation. So more about Edgar Allan Ohms. How was competition last year?
Competition last year was amazing. It was my first, like, full regional. I had only been to ROBOTICON the previous year. It was a good opportunity to see how other teams attacked the problem. Like, there were some teams like Minotaur, I never would have thought of doing things that they would have done.
And for people who aren't aware, what was the game like?
The game, Steamworks, is the goal was to collect gears and place them on a peg so they could be lifted up by pilots into a platform called an airship, where they would be placed on rotors and then spun to get points. And you could also score fuel, which was balls, into a hopper for that to be counted as well.
Okay.
And you could climb a rope at the end of the match to score an additional 50 points.
All right. Wow. And what was your strategy for the game?
Our strategy, originally, we were going to try to do all three things. We were going to try to gears, shooting, and climbing. But 4 weeks into the season, we did, our robot was like 30 pounds overweight, and we hadn't even accounted for that. So we had to scrap the entire thing. And currently, our design is we have our gear collector that will go onto the peg, and we have a really good lifter.
Oh, that's good. So you strategize for what you can do.
Yes.
Yeah. How about for the upcoming season? How are you guys getting ready for that?
We're starting to design drivetrain ideas so that once the season starts and we see the competition, we can just immediately send it off to get made, so we don't have to worry about drivetrain as much.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Because like moving around, we talk about robot in a weekend. I was a part of that, and after like 30 hours, you get something to move, and you're like, yes, yes, it moves. That was the like greatest part of that weekend, and it's the hardest. It's just getting it to move.
Definitely.
So what do you think about ROBOTICON today?
It's been a really fun experience, especially seeing the FLL and FTC teams, which I haven't actually seen their competitions before.
Oh.
It's really interesting to see how younger people are learning robotics and coding and what they're doing to attack their problems, how they think differently.
I know, watching those kids work, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, like I wasn't doing that when I was that young.
You could see the gears moving, literally. But yeah, that's great. And what year are you in your high school career?
I am a junior.
You're a junior. Okay. And how has FIRST helped you?
It's helped me in my robotics class. It's a class at our school. It's helped me. I've learned more about CAD design, computer-aided design, and SolidWorks, which is a program we use both on the team and in school. So it's helped me get better at that, and it's helped me think differently. Like I was not the best student in that class, and now I've really started coming into my own, like learning better programming, like how to design certain systems like more efficiently.
Okay. And how has FIRST changed, or more like how has FIRST helped you with your future goals?
Has it done any influencing on what career path, or?
It has. I originally wanted to go through for software development, but now I'm thinking more something towards computer engineering, like building electronics, or maybe mechatronics, but I'm not the best at math.
I think anyone who says they're good at math does nothing but math. Math is very complicated.
It's pretty complex. Okay. So if someone wanted to learn more about your team and wanted to get involved in your team, where can they go and what can they do?
They can go to either our website, which is being updated very soon for this year and for our new members and old members having left.
And what is the website?
I believe it's edgarallenohms.com.
Okay.
Okay.
And they can come to our library, which is the Land O'Lakes Library in Pasco County. It's not right next to our rec center, and they can just come in and ask what we do. We've had patrons just come in and talk to us, just ask us about our team, ask them about like adults asking about their kids joining or what other things they can do.
Outreach all the time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your rest of ROBOTICON.
I will. Thanks.
Libraries. Not just books. Now it's robots and books.
Yeah. It's always good to have a member of the Edgar Allan Ohms to come on.
Oh, I love them.
They come on. I mean, if you guys are regulars to the show, you would know that they come on somewhat often, and it's quite the experience. I don't know. I just like talking to the team members, and
they're a little bit different because they do outreach all the time, just at their meetings.
Yeah.
So for our next interview, we have the Incredibots. Hi, would you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Trisha, and I'm from the Incredibots.
The Incredibots. So that's a FIRST Lego League team, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about them?
So this is our second year in FLL. Last year was our rookie year, and we went to the World Championship, so that was really fun and cool. So this year we came back.
Nice. How was that?
So it was really eye-opening because everyone had huge attachments, and they did the mission so well.
Okay. Wow. How was your team?
Our team started off with a really small attachment, but it was quick and simple, so it did the job.
That's
all right. And what is your position on your team?
Well, I'm kind of like the core values coordinator. So any outreaches or things that pop up, we do those.
Okay. Oh, this is up your alley. This interview. So, saying that you were a rookie team and you went all the way to World, how was that transition? Were you involved with FIRST before your rookie year at all, or?
Not at all. So our community did this thing where some other communities did outreaches. So one of the teams from Arbor Green did an outreach too. So then we went to their outreach, and they told us all about it, and we were like super interested. So we went to the website and we learned stuff.
Nice. So, getting involved and getting your team together, did you just grab a whole bunch of friends and decide to make a team?
Yeah, we were all friends, and we all lived in like the same neighborhood. So we were just like, let's do this.
Nice.
Okay. And do you all go to the same school?
Well, 5 of us are in 6th grade, and 2 of us are in 5th grade. So.
Okay.
Nice. That's cool. So, what are you doing here at ROBOTICON today?
Well, we are running our missions, and we are trying to help other teams and cheer them, because like this is where we started our rookie year, so it's like very special to us, and we're like trying to get other people into it.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I like
that is great. Man, so ROBOTICON means something.
Yeah, it's where we started.
How do you like seeing the other competitions, like for First Robotics and First Tech Challenge?
It's really cool because it's like super big, and they don't use Legos anymore. They use like metal rods.
Yeah, this is quite a change.
Yep.
So, we'll talk a little bit more about World. That's a really big achievement in rookie year.
And where was Worlds this last year?
Texas.
Texas. Okay.
You went
So how
all
did
the
you
way
like
to
that?
Texas.
It was really fun.
Was it your first time in Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it quite the experience?
Yep. Was not the weather that I expected.
No?
In which ways?
Well, I thought it was going to be a little more colder because it was like farther into January, so it's like.
Oh, true.
But it's Texas, so I mean, like, it's not that much farther north.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
So, what was the competition like?
So the competition
Texas?
was like really competitive. So like people cheered different things, and it was really cool how they came up with cheers in like 2 seconds for other teams.
Oh,
so
wow.
we tried that out, and it was really cool.
Okay. All right. Did you guys make any other connections while you were there?
Well, we have like other teams that mentored us there. So like we met up with them, and they kind of like gave us a one-on-one with their team, and so we learned about their robot design and their attachments, and we still talk to some of them today.
That's awesome.
Wow. How many people are on your team?
6 people.
6 people on your first LEGO League team. That's really cool. And what about mentors and coaches?
There's 2 mentors, and 2 mentors/coaches.
Wow. And I know we have another of your members here, and that we were going to talk to him too. So how about we switch you guys out? And thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is amazing. They really are Incredibots for a reason.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I like how they like make connections while they go places, and they have that interconnected community sense.
I know, and they found out from another community, and now they're starting.
And they like work together too.
I know,
They
right?
like
That's
work
a-
together
that's
to
a
help
lot
each
of
other.
community.
That's gracious professionalism for
At its
you.
finest.
Hi, can you introduce yourself for us?
My name is Samarth, and I'm from the Incredibots team.
Okay. And so what grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade.
All right. And what's your position on your team?
I'm the Chief Information Officer, so I help with the computer programming with the robot and all that.
Wow. Okay. And you're in what grade?
5th.
And
he's smarter than I am.
So what do you do on your team?
They assign missions, and they do the programming, and then I look at it, and then I help them with it to make it better or more efficient and all that.
Ooh, so how was for the competition last year? What was it?
We did a really good job, and we advanced to World, and it was our first year, so we didn't really know much. We were just trying out FLL, but it turns out, in a coincidence, we actually went to World.
Okay. That was not a coincidence. That's a lot of hard work.
hard work,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and that's really impressive. So what do you do at your meetings, like to work on your
what we
bot?
do is we go at our meeting, then we tell our coach what we have accomplished for the past week, and then we decide new goals for the next week, and then we show them our robot runs and how we improved, and we tell them our project ideas over again so we can refresh them. And
Okay.
Wow.
And what's your favorite thing about FIRST? Or being on your team, or what's your favorite thing about FLL?
we get to have fun.
Get to have
Oh,
fun? Yeah, do you guys have a
yeah.
lot of fun on your team?
Yep.
Yeah? What kind of things do you guys do to have fun while you guys are working? Or is the work the fun?
The work is the fun.
Definitely. That's what I
And like after tournaments, we usually have a celebration at someone's house, or one of our team's house.
thought. Okay.
And it's really fun. We go to restaurants and all that together.
That's
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. How was World? Because first year and you went to World. That's a really big achievement.
Well, it was like really big, and we got to see teams from all over the country. And some teams were older because in other countries it's up to 16, not 14, as in the U.S. So we got to see other teams and how their dances and all that, and their product ideas, and we got to see all the stuff, and it's really cool.
Did you get to meet a lot of people when you were in Texas?
Yep.
Yeah? Anybody that stood out? Any teams that stood out to you?
Well, not much, but we saw a team that was in World that was also in state with us.
Okay.
And they actually won the state.
Wow.
So
you got to meet like your teams you've known before, and that is how was it going starting out from like just making your robot, and you had to do competitions before you got to World, right? You had to qualify for World. How was those competitions?
It was pretty good, and our second tournament, the pre-qualifier, we actually won that tournament too. So it got us boosted, and then we knew that we were ready for the rest, and we were really happy about that. And
well, we're really excited to hear about it. I mean, that sounds like a great achievement. You guys did great.
Thank you.
You did. Or is your team very proud that you made it to World, and you're all very happy? Are you ready to go back at it again? Because the next competition's coming up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, are you guys ready for the new season and to do this all over again?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I go lead when I was younger.
Yeah.
I did. I did do it. A bunch of my friends, and my dad was the coach.
I didn't get that opportunity. I didn't even know this was a thing until I was playing tennis one day, and then Bennett talked about robots, and I was like, yes.
I love that your robotics story starts with tennis.
I was playing tennis one day, and someone mentioned a robot.
It is such a bizarre transition, and I love it.
It's one of my favorite stories to tell.
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have our next interview.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, could you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Jonathan Fitzer. I am the president of the Society of Aeronautics and Rocketry here at USF.
That's right. So here at FIRST Roboticon, we not only have FIRST Robotics teams, we have clubs from the university that's hosting the Sun Dome. So why don't you tell us more about your club and how you work at USF?
Sure. So Society of Aeronautics and Rocketry, we build rockets. That's our main thing right now. We design, build, manufacture, test, launch all of our rockets from scratch, from how many fins are on the rocket to what kind of fins, the way they're shaped, nose cone designs. We build our own motors that go into the rockets. So whole 9 yards, we do everything.
Wow. Yeah. So how did you get involved in rocketry?
So it was this past year, back in January, I had just left one of my internships, and I didn't really have anything going on. It wasn't working, and I just wanted to get involved, and there was a big student organization day at school, and I saw rockets, and I was like, I like rockets. Let's build some rockets. And so I joined, and here I am.
And now you're the president.
Now I'm the president, yeah.
How did that happen?
I was nominated for it. I didn't apply for the position. Yes.
Were you so involved that they were like, him?
I guess so. I started off as a mechanical engineering tech lead because I'm a mechanical engineering student. I was working on a payload design for one of our rockets. And I guess the president saw something in me that I didn't. And I just saw my commitment or my dedication, I guess, to SOAR, and he decided I was the right choice.
All right. And what year are you in your college experience?
I'm a super senior, so I'm in my 5th year.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty common for engineering students to go into 5 years. So.
Yes.
All right. And
more about what your club does. You not only make rockets, I know that you also participate in competitions.
We do, with rockets. So that's
with
the fun
rockets.
part. One of our, right? Who would have thought?
I go to USF.
Who would have thought? Our main competition that we do every year is called NASA Student Launch. It's hosted by NASA. It's an event that they hold up in Huntsville, Alabama, or Rocket City, like some people like to call it, because they do a lot of NASA testing up there. And basically the overall thing of the competition is we have to make a rocket, we have to design it, it has to go to a mile high, and then we get a choice of 1 of 3 payload designs. So the one that we're going with this year is a rover. So the rocket goes up to a mile high, has to land safely and deploy a rover, has to move 5 feet from the rocket and deploy a solar panel, so it just unfolds. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds really complex.
It's a lot of work.
Wow. And how long do you have to do that?
So we got the the overall package, it was given out, put public about end of August, early September. And so we have from now until April, that's when the official competition is.
Okay.
And there's deadlines along the way.
And how far have you gotten so far?
We are working on our payload design, so what we want to do with the rover. So we have 3 current ones that we're working on. We're going to prototype them and then decide which one works best for us.
All right.
Yeah.
And what is your like project management like cycle? Like how do you go about
Building a
finishing
rocket?
the
Yeah.
project?
Well, so we have a project manager. He oversees the whole project, and then he separates it into leads for each department. So we have a mechanical lead, computer engineering lead, electrical lead.
That sounds familiar.
And they kind of break apart and work on their own systems, and then they come together and put it all together and make sure it works.
Okay.
So yeah, divide and conquer.
Yeah, and rocketry.
Sounds like this stuff.
Yeah, and also
There's a lot of applicable stuff that you can see going on down there that can be applied to just about anything.
Yeah, and what are you here doing at ROBOTICON?
We have a booth over on the side there showing off some of our rockets. Our largest one over there is our 25-foot rocket. Its name is Taurus, so we got to keep with the bull theme for USF. It is our organization's first 2-stage rocket. Wow. So 2 stages. We launched it back in April. It was another event. It was an event that we went to. It wasn't a competition, called LDRS, or Large Dangerous Rocket Ships.
Okay.
We wish we came up with that name, but we didn't. But it was a good time. They actually wouldn't allow us to launch both stages because they said it would have gone past the height ceiling that they had for the event. So we had to launch just the first stage, which ended up going 8,750 feet.
Wow.
Yes. And with the second stage, it was projected to go 15,000 feet. So they said we couldn't do it, so we only focused on that top stage.
And where do you guys deploy?
Deploy what?
Your rockets.
How do you
guys
test them?
Yeah, like where do you test the rockets here on
So
campus?
we actually don't test here on campus. 'Cause
Okay.
we can't launch a rocket on campus.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So we go out to a place known as Varn Ranch. It's a place out in Plant City. It is a launch site that is run by what's called Tripoli Rocket Association. So they host events, they host rocket launches, and we just go out and we launch rockets at their events. For testing that, we just basically used that top stage, and we did a smaller rocket inside of it just to prove that our design worked and everything was working properly. And then we scaled it up and used a bigger rocket at the final event in April.
Wow.
Are you guys here both days?
Yes, we will be.
Okay. Have you heard about FIRST other than this, like FIRST Robotics?
No, I have not. This is my first time being president, so I got an email saying that you guys were going to be here and they would love to have us, and we said sure, we'd love to be here. So
what do you think about the event?
It's super interesting. It's hard to go between talking to people and watching some of the events happen, but I have to divide my time.
Yeah.
It's very interesting watching the different events and just what they have to do, and as they go through the events, I'm just thinking about what they had to build in order to get it to happen. So.
And this is something that starts at such a low age.
Yes, that's surprising. I was actually talking to a couple of the people here that were actually interested in getting involved with SOAR. So having us work with their kids, and then when they grow up, maybe they could come to USF and keep working on rockets. So I think it would work well for both of us.
That's so cool.
Yeah, mentorship from a rocket club.
Yeah.
Man.
These are the kind of connections that ROBOTICON can do.
Yes.
Wow, that's great. I'm excited for you guys.
We're excited.
Oh, that's great. Man, so what other things, what kind of starting a rocket club, like you do it for the rockets, but what else can you get out of it?
Work experience. That's one of the main things that we're pushing for with SOAR, is that we want to be more than just a student organization where people come and build rockets, and that's great. We have our work structure, like I was talking about with NSL. We have a project manager and their different project leads, where students can come in and get as close to real world work experience as they can before they go off into the real world. We've had members leave SOAR and get internships with NASA and SpaceX. So,
wow.
Yeah, we try to get people real world experience, and going into an interview and you say, yeah, I worked on a rocket and we had this whole team and we had to work through these issues. And they just like, whoa, wait, they know a lot, and we really want them to have them on our team. So it's good experience for the students too.
I'm sure if you go into any interview and be like, yeah, I've built a rocket.
That probably
They're
helps.
like,
Probably helps a little bit. Yeah, okay, tell me more. Tell me more. Exactly.
Oh. Is this club exclusive to USF students?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
To be a member of SOAR, you have to be a USF student.
All right.
Currently, it's USF Tampa only. That's just the way that it's written with student government. That's a whole other issue, but it's USF Tampa students, but there's nothing to say that we can't work with high school students and teach them what we know.
Oh, so you're going to start mentoring teams, hopefully.
Yeah, just kind of do some educational outreach. It's good for our members and it's good for everyone else as well.
Have you been able to talk to like members from the robotics competition?
I think we've had some come up to us in like the meantime between some of the events. I couldn't tell you which ones they were, if they were even on a team, but I've seen a lot of the shirts, and some of the ones that I see down there now look familiar. So,
I know you were talking to Team Duct Tape when we came up to go get the interview. But we were actually members of Team Duct Tape.
It's the First Tech Challenge.
First Tech Challenge team.
Gotcha.
Which is like the other side over there.
Okay.
That's the First Tech Challenge.
The competition, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was only on the team for a couple years, but she started Lego League.
In middle school, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Legos.
No, there's not.
No,
I still have a tub at home.
So do I. Don't worry. Can't get away from them.
No.
So if people wanted to find out more about your club, or wanted to like connect with you guys, or if there's anyone on campus here that wanted to learn more about or join, what can they do and where can they go?
Well, USF students, they can find us on BullSync. That's the way that USF organizes all their student organizations, put them all in one place. So if they search for Society of Aeronautics and Rocketry there, they can find us. They can send any one of our executive members a message, and we can get involved that way. Outside of SOAR, they can visit usfsoar.com and look at all of the past projects, current projects, and get in contact with us there.
Awesome.
Nice. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for talking to me.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your RobotCon.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks. So, yeah, I've actually been to one of their meetings before.
Are you a member?
No, I am part of a different club.
Oh.
I'm part of a different club that makes robots. I deal with stuff on the ground than more up in the air.
Yeah.
I'm a down-to-earth kind of girl.
Are you sure?
Probably not. But
I was going to say, that's even Scott's, you guys can't see him. There's no camera on Scott, but he's doing this. All right, so our next interview is here. Can you please introduce yourself for us?
Yeah, I'm David Guzman. I'm a first alumni from Team 1251 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Originally Coconut Creek area, now we're in Deerfield Beach, but it's the same team. And I'm also a mechanical engineer for Sunny's Enterprises, which is one of the sponsors here at the event. As of 3 days ago, it was kind of last second thing, but
okay, so you're first alumni and now you're working.
Yes.
How did that work out?
It's actually a pretty long story, but I'll try to summarize it. I started in high school as a sophomore, and our first year we didn't have any sponsors. We went to the event, we realized, hey, our robots sucked. It was terrible. We needed to find sponsors. So the following year, we were introduced to this company named Sunny's, and they were like one of the bigger manufacturers in our area. And they decided that they wanted to sponsor the team. We met with at the time, the owner, the president of the equipment division, and they started working with us as young kids. Their civil guy taught us Inventor. He's like, oh, here's how you use Inventor. Ooh. And anyway, I worked in the team for a few years. Then later on, after they saw I was the lead designer on the team, and they actually offered me an internship position when I was graduating high school. So
wow.
I worked there for a summer, and then I went to school. I was doing school for a couple of years at UCF, and after 2 years, I asked for a recommendation letter. I said, hey, I want to try to find a part-time job in Orlando. Is there anybody you can recommend me with? He's like, the owner said, wait, hold on. Why do you want to find a job? I was like, just something part-time. And then he's like, well, we want you to come work here for us when you graduate. So after that point, they started paying for my schooling. I went and worked every winter break, every summer break. I was working at the factory. Actually, my senior design project was a prototype for one of the washes. So, it's been with the company ever since.
Wow.
Yep.
That is quite the story.
Yeah. So what do you do now?
Right now at Sunny's, I'm pretty much leading the new product development in the engineering department. So I get to do anything from R&D and testing of new ideas to final design, figuring out, working with other departments to do product launch and just different things. It's pretty fun.
So I'm going to say this, put this out there. Do you think you would have gotten this job if you weren't involved in FIRST?
Actually, I would definitely not have gotten this opportunity with the company if I wasn't in FIRST. I was actually just telling one of the kids outside that when I was doing my senior design project in college, I realized how big of an advantage I had over the other students because of FIRST. Because I was working with other students that were like straight A students, as bookmarks as you can get. Like they knew all the math better than I did at the time, and but when it came down to the project, they were just clueless about how to make a part, how to design a part, how to make a prototype. So I think that the kids that go through the program don't realize that until they actually have to use it, and they're like head to head with other students that haven't had the opportunity. It puts you at a big advantage. So.
And how have you been staying involved in FIRST since you've graduated?
I've been mentoring all through college. I've been a college mentor. Now, after I graduated as a mechanical engineer, I got in charge of the FRC build season. Then we actually split up from the school, and now I'm the leader for the club. We became 4-H, so I'm the club leader. Now we're doing one FRC team, two FLL teams, and one FTC team.
Wow.
So, yep.
And are any of them here at Roboticon?
No, we're not actually,
Okay.
unfortunately, because it's kind of a big thing for us to come in one night of hotel, and it was kind of last second when we decided to come. So we'll be at Mission Mayhem, and we're throwing around the idea of maybe going to Jacksonville if they do have the event. So
Where are they based in?
we're in Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Okay.
So more about this company, you reached out to them and they became a sponsor for the team.
Yes.
Do they still continue to do that?
Oh yeah, they're our founding sponsor. So they're our main sponsor. Right now we're actually working with them to bring the FRC team to the company. So we have we're working trying to figure out how to set up an apprenticeship program so we can teach kids how to do some skilled trades like machining, drafting, or just teach kids how to use their hands, how to do things that they don't teach in school anymore. So they're still our major sponsor. 4-H and the University of Florida is actually one of our sponsors as well. But without Sonny's, we couldn't do any of the programs that we have with the 4-H club.
So what do they do exactly in their sponsorship?
They pay for a registration fee every year. Sometimes they do 2 events. We also have a deal with them that anytime we win an award that qualifies us first to go to championship, they pay for their registration to go to championship.
Wow. That's awesome.
But the biggest help actually comes in-kind donations. So we do all the machining at Sonny's. We help with the design work. We set up the field at Sonny's.
Wow.
We have mentors from Sonny's that, they work with the kids from the brainstorming of the ideas to some of the prototypes that we put together. So they're just really involved as far as during the build season. Now for FLL and FTC is still kind of new for us. So this is the second year we're doing FTC, and it's the first year we're doing FLL. So right now we're still trying to grasp our minds around everything that it's involved with FLL. So it's actually my first time. Then Drew is one of our lead mentors as well. So we're both coaching the FLL teams, and for us it's like a whole new experience to work with the little kids because we're used to just working with the high school kids.
Wow. And what are some of the challenges you've been facing?
For me personally, I'm just trying to learn how to keep them focused. I've noticed their attention span is like 30 seconds, so that's been a challenge. But other than that, it's just getting to learn about how to make the project, how to keep them involved with. Because at that age, you're teaching them more than just the technical trades that we're teaching like FRC. FRC we're teaching them like team building, but when you're at a young age, you're teaching them how to be, nice to each other, how to, when you pick up something and you start it, finish it. So there's the little things like that it's tough to teach.
How much time do you dedicate to just mentoring and helping out these teams?
A lot. I don't really quantify it, but it's been a lot. Right now we're meeting Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
That's
about
awesome.
3 hours every day, and then everything that we do in between the meetings to prepare the meetings. During build season, that's a whole other story. During FRC build season, we always say at 1251 we build robot in 3 days because usually we're like the last 3 days is like 24/7 trying to finish the robot program. So yeah, I don't quantify the hours, but it's been a lot.
Yeah. So during the FRC build season, there is a tremendous amount of mentoring and working on it with the company, right?
Yes.
It is like.
I'm lucky because Sonny's actually, when I started working with them, we worked out a deal that I get to go to the competitions as part of the sponsorship that they do for the team. So at least I get that time off. But as far as finding time to mentor the kids, then it's hard to balance the two things. Usually the last week when the build season's over, I go to my boss and tell him, hey, listen, like we need to finish the robot. I need to leave a few hours early, go work with the kids, and they're very understanding about that stuff. So.
What kind of parallels do you see between like the things you do at Sunny's and the things you see your mentees doing in FIRST?
I think FIRST is truly the program that gives you the opportunity to see all those real life problems that we face when we're designing a new product. So you get to go from the evaluating your ideas or doing conceptual designs, figuring out what your objective is. So we do that. We do the same thing when we're designing a new product. We figure out what is the purpose of this product? What does it need to accomplish? So set up your design specifications for the product. So we do the same thing with an FRC robot or an FTC robot. Is what is it trying to accomplish? And then after that is also looking at your resources. Okay, how much can it cost? Like, what do we have available for us? And for FRC and for the robotics program, it's not just the cost monetary. It's also your mentors. What are your skills that you have in your mentors? What equipment you have that you can use to make parts? We evaluate all those things in industry also when we're designing a product. So it's about as real as it gets for a high school kid to design something like that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
So do you think that you found very valuable things when you were in FIRST that like really stood out to you when moving forward with your career?
I think the thing that stuck out the most is the friendly competition aspect of it. Ever since I was a kid, I was very competitive. And I feel like you learn so much more when you're inspired to compete, when you have that friendly competition that it's not just about like, I don't want to compete with you and make you do bad so I can do better.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being better together and how do I push myself to the next level. I think that part of FIRST truly inspired me. The other part that also inspired me is I figured out what my career path was going to be. When I was a kid, I used to say I want to be an electrical engineer. That was like my dream. The first year of FRC, I did all the electrical in the robot, and I hated it. I couldn't do it. So and I was actually jealous because I was doing all the wiring, and all the other kids were doing the mechanical design, making prototypes. I'm like, what am I doing here? So the next year, I started doing the mechanical stuff, and I said, oh, wow, I really like this kinematic linkages. I want to be a mechanical engineer. So for me, on a personal note, it just completely changed my view on what I wanted to do. So I think that, doesn't get much better than that, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. This is really cool. And now you're mentoring a tons of teams. That's like you full on 3 teams, right?
Yeah. 1 FRC teams and 2 FLL and 1 FTC, so 4.
So 4.
4 teams. That's
but we have
a
great group of mentors that we're all working with, so can't say it.
That's really cool. And they're all they also get help from Sunny's?
Yeah. This is the first time we're doing the 2 FLL, so we haven't really asked Sunny's for anything right now. But Sunny's is mostly focused on the FRC side for now, and then hopefully in the future we can get some more mentors for FTC and FLL.
Yeah, that's a
So
really
if
good.
Anybody wanted to connect with you on like trying to find out more about the fields that you're in, or wanted to connect with Sunny's, or wanted to connect with any of your teams, where can they go and what can they do?
We're actually have the kids working on the website right now for the team. So eventually it will be team1251.org. It's not live yet, but hopefully in the next week or so it will be. If not, you can email me. My work email is dguzman, so DGUZMAN @sunnysdirect.com, or Gmail, david.guzman.1251@gmail.com. So you can send me an email with any questions. Or if anybody in our area wants to join a team, we're always looking. Right now we have 14 kids doing FLL, about 25 kids doing FTC, and then most of those plus others will be our FRC kids once the season starts.
That's fantastic.
That is. So thank you so much for coming. Are you
guys for
enjoying
having me.
ROBOTICON?
Yeah, no, we're having a good time and meeting lots of new people, so it's good.
That's good. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, actually next year we'll make sure our team comes down, because this year we couldn't plan it, but next year it was very organized, so I really want to have the team here next time.
And then maybe next year we can connect with you and your team, and then find time for interviews like back to back. Find
cool.
out what it's like from the mentor perspective. I don't know what I said. Perspective to the mentee perspective.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. That's cool.
That was really cool.
That is like the first story of like full on. I was in a FIRST team. I got mentored, and now I got a job.
He jumped into the field right after high school. He got an internship. That's like the dream.
I'd like to point out that Marissa's making up words problem seems to be contagious.
I'm having an issue.
Just keep going with it. Don't pretend like you made a mistake.
Well,
Just
I looked
do
at
it.
Scott. Scott's like, "What did you say?" I don't know.
Don't acknowledge the fact that you made a mistake. Just go with it. So we have our next interview. Hi, I think we've seen that shirt before.
Of course.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that before in my life.
How about you introduce yourself for the audience?
All right, so my name is Elijah Bond. I am on Masquerade, and I am the captain of the team.
Okay. Captain. Wow,
captain.
that's a big goal. How's that working out?
It's pretty good. You know, it's a new challenge. You know, seeing it from your freshman year and trying to work up to that expectation. It's a lot of fun, to be honest, just to take control of the team. You know, boss them around a little bit. It's really fun. Yeah, I'm loving it.
So, are you a senior?
Yes, I'm a senior, but it's my third year in robotics.
Okay. And is it a requirement to be a senior to be the captain?
Not necessarily. There's many requirements that goes into the process to make you eligible. So one is like you have to take a safety test. You have to have a certain amount of community service hours. You have to fundraise a certain amount of money. And you just have to have a leadership position in your team.
So did you have to apply for this position, or
Yes.
what was the process of
Becoming a
actually
captain?
becoming the captain?
Okay, so basically at the end of the season, you have to sign a application basically saying what do you want to do, why you believe that you should have the position. And they review your information, see if you've been active in the team or not. And basically the old club leadership will take that in consideration if they've seen you participating. You know, gracious professionalism is a big thing. Yeah, so there's just many different factors that go into it. But it's basically the application and what you contribute to the team.
Okay. What are you contributing to your team now?
Well, right now I'm making sure that they get that robot up and running. We're wiring it up right now. I'm also the lead builder, so I have to kind of pass that role on to them. So I'm more like a mentor now. So I have to kind of step back but also make sure things are getting done. And I'm also a driver, so it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Nice.
So how far have you gotten in this competition?
It's been the game got released 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago. So Hurricane Irma kind of pushed that back. So like that week, we were just like brainstorming, talking on the phone, trying to figure out what's the best, move for this game. And it was really interesting because not a lot of people were able to get on, so we had to kind of wait. But I think we'll be in good shape for the first comp.
Okay.
That'd be good.
So you're still in the prototyping phase,
Yeah.
trying things out.
Yeah, but basically right now we just have a simple grabber that are connected to 2 servos, which is then connected to a drawer slide lift. So it's pretty basic, but I think it'll do us really good for the first comp.
And for people who don't know what the game is about for First Tech Challenge, can you describe it to us?
Okay, so this year's game, it's Relic Recovery. The basics of the game is collecting the glyphs, which are 6 by 6 inches in width and height. You want to place those glyphs inside of the crypto box. If you can have those glyphs in a certain order, you get more points. There's also an old element that's brought back to this year's game, which is the relic, and it's pretty big, I would say. But basically, you have to pick that up, and at the end of endgame, if you can extend outside the perimeter of the field and place it into different levels, you get more points. So there's a lot of older elements that are brought back into this game, but it's really fun.
So, complexity level, how would you compare this season to the previous seasons that you've encountered?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
Maybe 5. It's not that hard, to be honest. We just have to get our programming up and running, which is our big issue right now.
It's just different. And that's what the first tries to do with every competition. Not make it harder, but make it different, but still a challenge.
And it
'cause
still
that's what it
adds
is.
that complexity level of how do I do that?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's great.
Yeah.
They don't make it harder every year because there's always new teams coming.
Right.
Your
So-
team is a fairly old one.
Right, and there's always new teams that rise up and, that take the position to, do good out here
And what's your biggest challenge that you see,
right now.
foresee for the future?
Programming. We
So-
really need help with programming and, resources. That's just our biggest deal right now, just trying to get everything up and running. There's just a lot of software issues.
How many members do you have on your team?
Currently, we have 9 members. Our previous years, we had up to 15, which is our rescue year. That was the year that we also went to Worlds and placed 3rd place.
Okay.
So we're kind of trying to build back up our reputation because, Masquerade, it's known for its history. So as a captain, I take that as a challenge. So that's what I plan to do.
Okay. And how are your team members broken out into the different groups?
Okay, so basically each member, they say what they want to do. So if you want to CAD, if you want to drive, build, we take into what you can do and what you want to do. And then we assign each group a team member, which is the leadership, right? So for my position, I'm the builder. So a lot of people want to build, so I have to have like a big group. I also have to separate them into CADing and programming. So it's just based off of what you want to do, what can you do, and if you put in the time for it.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
And if there are members on your team who don't know as much as other members, what do you do to help them out?
Okay, basically we take them in, we show them the roots of everything. So let's just say programming. We have 2 members on our team that would like to program right now. And we have our main programmer. He just takes them through the steps. Okay, this is Android Studio. This is what we work with. We have 2 phones that connect to the robots. We use Java. So they just take it step by step each day at the practices.
So what are you doing here at ROBOTICON?
Right now, we are currently finishing the wiring. We're trying to test our gripper mechanism, and we're just connecting with other teams, you know, trying to get out there and be more gracious and, you know, social with other teams. So
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
How many freshmen do you have on your team?
We have 2 freshmen right now.
2 freshmen?
Yeah.
And how are they adapting to
They're adapting pretty well, actually. Yeah, so our one programmer, he's really interested in building, so he's been coming to every practice, you know, messing with stuff. It's almost like you're babysitting in a way, because he's like, okay, don't touch that, but okay, I'll show you what to do. So they're really interested.
Okay.
Wow.
I feel like that's really exciting to see like that initiative so early.
Yeah.
You just know that they might become the next captain.
Right. It's
or
like you see yourself in them almost.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, that was me at one point.
Yeah.
So I really want to see that, you know, progress forward.
That's sure you're a high school student because you sound really mature right now.
Yeah, you're super mature.
I get that a lot, actually, yeah.
That's probably why you were made president.
Yeah.
So how is it here seeing all the other competitions like the FIRST Robotics and FIRST Lego League?
It's overwhelming, actually. Like all the little kids jumping around, dancing. It's amazing. And then seeing FRC, our FRC team here, it's really fun. I like
That's
it.
cool. Yeah, because Masquerade's part of the Middleton, and we have talked to your robotics club president. We got to talk to
Right.
her, Erin. And so she was telling us how you guys help each other. It's a real community.
Right. So on another note on that, we also had a brainstorming session, right? So we had our FRC leadership, we had FTC, our VEX. So basically all of Middleton was at our practice, and we were helping each other with prototyping, ideas. It was really good to see everyone connect, because in recent years, it was more like a rivalry between 2 FTC teams, like, oh, that's our sister team, but it's really like we're trying to help each other. So I want to kind of help change that.
I had a question. So, like you mentioned and brushed over a little bit, you guys have 2 teams at your school.
2 FTC teams.
And how do you know like which team to join when you're
A freshman?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So we take them through training basically and show them what FTC is. And when it's time to assign them to our team, we take into consideration what does the team need, what can this person contribute, what other clubs are they doing, so that you can have many active members instead of, you know, people who are doing FBLA, TSA. So it's just basically they choose, or actually we choose most of the time, but you have a preference on what you want to do.
Oh,
and
so
what team.
how did you? Well, then you were like chosen to be on Masquerade, right? So did you like have a preference of which one you wanted to be on, or?
Yeah, I wanted to be on Masquerade mostly because the captain of the team during that time was like my best friend, and we were really friends. And he was like, "Yeah, so join my team." So when he saw
Was
my
this
name,
bias?
it could
did they
be.
choose you
It
for their
could
team?
be. But we had a lot of members that year, so yeah. So he was just like, "You should join FTC," and I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "Well, this is our robot," and I was like, all right, it looks cool, so why not? So I joined, and I just took off running. I really love it. This actually changed my career interest. So
Oh, how so?
very much so. Before I wanted to work with, you know, phones and, you know, put together phones and laptops. I took a class called digital electronics in school, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. So then I joined robotics, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of good at this. I like this. So I'm going to continue on to pursue this. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
It is.
So, being a senior, do you have any goals for colleges, or like what are you looking for?
I'm looking to basically find the right college for me that can help pursue my career. I don't want to just get a job and go work somewhere. I want to have a career or something I love to do.
Yeah.
So this year, I want to finish off with my team, but I will come back and mentor them, of course. But I want to find the right college and place that I can actually pursue. And I just want to make connections. They're always, like it said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So.
Yes, that is the biggest thing
Right.
for competitions and jobs and stuff.
How many mentors does your team have?
We have 3 right now.
3 right now?
Yeah, we're looking for more, so
Yeah.
we really need the help.
How many of those mentors, how many of them are alumni?
0.
0. Okay.
0.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mostly parents, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so after you graduate, you want to come back as a mentor?
Yeah, I will come back and definitely see how the team is doing, help them wherever I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And it is. It's once you're in first, you're always going to be
Yeah,
in first.
it's hard to get out. You can't break it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. And whatever college you choose, I hope that there's a First Alumni Club there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if not, you have to make one.
I will definitely do that. I can't be away for robotics too long.
I mean, this one's speaking. She's
I got
the
made
president.
the president here at USF. I'm the president of the First Alumni Club here.
Nice.
It just got, I actually had to restart it, so I'm president of now 2 weeks.
How was that?
It's great, yeah. Most of the people who are involved in the club are here volunteering at the event, so that's one big thing. Yeah,
Cool.
it is. Yeah, a lot of volunteers here. Green shirts, most of them are from USF, not this one.
I go to Florida Polytechnic University, which...
And you're hearing us say these names for a reason, by the way, because
Yeah.
there's a really good fit.
I was actually looking at Polytech. I think
Yeah.
it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very good school. It's really tight-knit.
Mhm.
Everybody because it's really small. But it's a great learning experience. And the class sizes are relatively small, too.
Really?
So it's kind of almost like high school, but with the college slap down on you.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta get those grades.
You know it. But if you have any questions about it, you can talk to me afterwards or connect with me.
Okay.
And saying that you're always looking for mentors, how can people find out more about your team?
All right, so we have a website. It's called middletonrobotics.org. We also have a Twitter, Facebook, and a YouTube channel. And the Twitter page is Masquerade FTC. And the Instagram page is also Masquerade4997.
So thank you so much,
No
and
problem.
good luck with the season.
Thank you.
Have fun at ROBOTICON.
All right.
That was a nice interview.
It was.
I enjoyed that. It was fun.
It's always good talking to the
All
presidents.
of these interviews are fun.
Yes. But I do love talking to presidents of teams. They're always so ready to talk about it. I probably think
A lot of Middleton today.
a lot. Well, they did just they do have this what I was talking to a mentor about their whole it's a robotics club now that is new. So they really did want to get all that information out there.
Mm-hmm.
I do talk to Milton a lot, and they're like, oh yeah, we're so excited about this that there's all this community between the school and the teams, and I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That needs to be first in general. It does.
I don't think I can hear you.
Yeah, he's not on.
Hi, Jacob.
Sorry about that, buddy.
It was I saw him mouth yes or yeah, and I'm like,
no.
Nope.
So now you're back.
Yes, I am.
How did you enjoy your first interviewing process?
It was entertaining.
Yeah,
I had
was
fun.
it? Yeah. It was a pretty. It's nice.
It is.
But
So RobotiCon,
it was fun.
It was.
I think our themes today were. There's always a theme. What's the theme?
There really is more than robots.
More than robots.
than
Yeah,
robots.
definitely.
That phrase came up a number of times.
I like making a theme.
There's
I
a
think
T-shirt
it's fun.
There's
Yeah.
a T-shirt downstairs. Guy with a T-shirt on that says "More than just robots."
Can we
walking
have
around.
one?
It's, but from what I can tell, I actually think it's the South Florida First Lego League shirts.
Yeah,
Because-
it's right. I can see one right here.
Yeah, because the kids that are right below us
have it on
all
the back.
have it on the back of their shirts, and the front just says First Lego League South Florida or something like that.
That's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that is pretty cool. Yeah, I need to get one of those shirts.
Definitely. So,
this is RobotiCon.
it was a good experience, and I think
We still have tomorrow.
We still have tomorrow. There is no live show tomorrow.
No, but it is a competition.
Not this.
Not this.
Not first
There-
looks.
But if you check out the ROBOTICON Tampa Bay Facebook page,
Yep.
you will see what is on the Jumbotron here in the stadium is also being streamed to Facebook Live.
Yeah, so stay tuned to see what's going on down there, the crazy things
The
that's
robots
happening.
are running
because
around.
There's going to be a lot of crazy things happening, I can already guarantee. Because there's always crazy things going on when there's robots involved.
Yes.
So thank you for staying tuned today.
This is RobotiCon 2017.
Yeah. I would like to say thank you for the staff here and the staff that's behind the scenes, which help out so much. Like, we really love you guys.
It's all about volunteers.
It's all about
it is.
It's all about
It's all the
volunteers.
people you work with.
So thank you very much for staying tuned. Check it out. I would suggest coming at some point, especially tomorrow if you're watching live, or next year if you're watching afterwards.
Plan for it. Make plans to come out next time.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.